Way to our seats, please. Mahalo.
I mean, I have no learning on the middle grade, that's the one that's first grade. Jeff, do you remember Jeff? We know, Jeff. Jeff, the one popped away. Oh, New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the book that I was reading. And I still have that book. Yeah. You have me back. It works once again. Okay. I asked the boss.
It is 6:32. We're calling this meeting to order. Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board number 24, May General Board Meeting. We are gonna kick this off with Mr. Endo, Board Member Endo in Pule.
Can you all rise? And let me just announce, I'm not gonna be here next month. Those of you who followed my son when he graduated from West Point, it's already been 5 years. So he's about to get out, but he's getting married. Yeah, the beginning of June, so that's why I'm not gonna be here. But I know a lot of people always ask me how he's doing. He's doing really well. He's already got a job lined up. And he's getting married. A wonderful gal. Well, let's pray. Father, I do thank you for all the things you continue to do in Waianae. Lord, and continue to show us the things you want us to get involved with. I thank you how you did an awesome job in the literary thing in Nanakuli Library on Thursday. Father, we pray as graduation is coming soon, in a couple of weeks, that you would help our seniors, bless them, direct them. May they be guided by you in what you have for their future. And Lord, continue to bless our board. May we do all things to your honor, to your glory. For I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
We are calling, thank you, Mr. Endo, for that. We're calling a 2-minute recess. We are having some technical difficulties with the audio online. We are back. Thank you, Jeff, for that. Okay, and we are moving right along. If we have our city emergency and first responders, so first up, Honolulu Fire Department. And I believe we have here in person. Aloha.
Good morning, everyone. Good evening, sorry, good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Ishima from the Waianae Fire Station. The statistics below are for the month of April that I'm going to read off. We had, as far as fires, we had 2 structure fires, 1 wildland brush fire, 3 nuisance fires, and 4 activated alarms with no fires. As far as other emergencies, there were 160 medicals, 0 motor vehicle collisions with pedestrians, 4 motor vehicle collisions and crashes, one mountain rescue, and one ocean rescue with 0 hazardous material incidents. So coming up right now, it's going to be the summer. So our fire safety tip has to do with wildland fires. So prevention and preparedness for that. So the tip for this month is wildland fires significantly threaten Hawaii's landscape, wildlife, and communities. With dry conditions and everyday activities contributing to the increased risk, it's crucial to take proactive measures to prevent and mitigate wildfires. So what you can do is lighten the load. That what that entails is reducing fuels and the possibility of ignition of your landscape by maintaining your yard and cleaning your gutters. Clear, cool, and contain. So that's clear vegetation 10 feet around campfires, barbecues, keep a shovel and water nearby, and put them out cold before walking away. So make sure they are out. Watch the spark. So ensure machinery, chainsaws, weed trimmers, and recreational vehicles with operating spark arresters are maintained regularly. And last, with any of these online resources, you can also find them on the hfdfire.honolulu.gov and Department of Emergency Management, the Hawaii Wildfire Management Organization. Any questions?
Board members, any questions? Go ahead, Board Member Crab.
Yes, really quickly. So we've been receiving some concerns, as you said, that summer's coming along. And for the Maka'a Valley, with some of the open lands that are getting dried, they're wondering if there's any type of way to enforce some of the properties that aren't maintaining their open lands.
Yes, there are. So we can note if you have the properties in question. we
Dad,
can-
the video gonna
Board Member Perry. Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
thank you.
No, Board Member Perry, hold on. He's just responding. Could
Yeah.
could you mute
sorry.
yourself real quick and just raise your hand and I'll call on you next. Thank you.
Yeah, so some of the properties that might be in question, if you know them, we could refer them to our Fire Prevention Bureau, which then they could actually go and try to assess the situation, and they can coordinate with other city resources to that way. But we have to know which ones are kind of in question though, yeah.
Mahalo.
Yeah.
Okay, Board Member Perry.
Thank you. Are you still recruiting for firefighters?
Right now, I think the recruitment just closed. I think there was application period for, I believe it was like a week, was last month, I think. So that was the open recruitment. Now it's just going through the process. They're test taking when they get assigned that.
Yeah, so that was put on by a nonprofit organization, is that correct? It was shown on television. It was well organized. The turnout seems to have been good. There
I'm not
was-
sure the exact, sorry, keep going, go ahead.
Was that organized by a nonprofit organization?
As far as I know, the recruitment should not be, should actually come through our department. So they're going to be the ones that have the numbers to actually do the recruitment. Outside, I don't know if they would have that ability to know what kind of vacancies we have to address like how many positions we need. Yeah, so it should have been done in the Honolulu Fire Department. Internal
But
recruitment.
there was something that took place. It had to do with the fire department. Whether it was by the fire department, but I think it was by a nonprofit, but it was well organized. And it would be very good if HPD had some kind of recruitment like that. So there were some activities along with that the day the event took place, and it was on television. So when I saw it was well organized, thinking that HPD, someone can do the same for HPD. I just wanted to make a comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other board members, Board Member Kalei Wilbur?
Some of that property that you're asking about behind Maka'a Elementary,
Okay.
That land is privately owned and it borders the old resort. And the fuel there gets pretty thick. A few years ago, we had fire come down the valley and it threatened the school and Water Street community in that area. It went all the way, shoot all the way to the surfing beach.
Mhm.
If that property can be addressed, because
Okay,
it's a pretty large property.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll bring that up with our prevention bureau and hopefully they can, they're pretty good about this side going to actually check out the properties as long as they can get like a contact and things like that. So I'll refer that to our prevention bureau. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mahalo. If no other board members, I have a comment before we end, but I think we have two in-person questions for you. Just state your name for the record. You're going to use the same mic if you can. Yes. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair.
Evening.
John Alpudi Travis, community member. So Cap, I heard your stats and then also just a confirmation, because I didn't hear anything as well yesterday. I had a few community members contact me in the area that I live in. They just noticed a military Chinook flying across the waters with the basket. So I know you said there wasn't any major brush fires or anything, but is there any reason why the Chinooks would be coming down here with fire apparatuses at the time?
Not that I know of. Most of the times we don't really coordinate with the military side unless like they asked us for help or they if we need kind of their help. But most of the times, I haven't seen anything in this past month that actually warrants that. They might have been doing their own drills or training, or unless they had their prescribed burns, maybe on the other side where I think one day there was a prescribed burn because we could see some ash coming over the mountain. So that might have been part of that. But as far as us, we didn't, HFT didn't respond to anything.
Thank you, Cap. Thank you, guys.
Okay. And then just state your name for the record.
Aloha, my name is Jan Makepa. I am with the Waianae Valley Homestead Community Association. My question is HFD working with DHHL regarding the Hawaii wildfire management and fire mitigation? I believe the state or the city and county is allocating monies to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands for fire mitigation. So I'm wondering if you folks are also working with them. They're supposed to be having some kind of meeting with all of the different homesteads regarding this. And I wanted to find out if you folks are involved in that.
Regarding that question, I'm not 100% sure about that. I know they have been doing some mitigation with, I'm not too sure, I think it was the Department of Transportation. If you've seen like a Keeley Drive when they kind of help clear some of that along that roadway. So they are trying to be a little bit more proactive about the wildfire situation, especially since Lahaina. As far as I'm not 100% sure, but I can go check on and I'll get a really good response whether they're working with DHHL for the helping with fire mitigation, right? Yeah.
Mahalo. And we have one more question in person.
Yeah, hello, Frank Montez, Waianae resident. Yeah, just like say a positive thing. If you guys notice, there's been having a lot of commercials on the fire department lately because of the summertime coming up, everything dry. So they're educating us. You know, if you watch the TV, you're gonna see the commercials. So that's something very positive. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then I'll finish off with saying mahalo for your guys' service and thank you for attending in person. We appreciate that and congratulations on the fire station. I don't know if I can connect with you offline, but if we could schedule maybe a tour or something of the new and improved fire station, that would be
course.
exciting.
Yeah.
But congratulations. Thank you so much for all you guys do.
Thank you for your time.
Mahalo. And then we're going right along to Corporal Pagan. I see you online.
Good evening, Madam Chair,
Thank you.
board
Good
members, members of the community, Corporal Pega with the Honolulu Police Department District and Community Policing Team. I have your stats for April. In April, we had 50 motor vehicle thefts, 7 in our area, 18 burglaries, 6 in our area, 163 thefts, 38 in our area, 40 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 11 in our area. There's a total of 304 citations issued, 6,552 calls for service, 1,848 in our area. And in regards to board member Johnny May's question regarding the recruiting, HPD is constantly doing PSAs and commercials for recruiting. They have been using social media, Instagram, Facebook, and posting information on there as far as qualifications and how the training goes, as well as in regards to the police services program where 18-year-olds can actually sign up with the Honolulu Police Department, take a test, get into the police department, and work as a police services officer towards their age of 21 and then transfer into the academy after that. So we are working on some programs to do some recruiting. I believe a couple of weeks ago, we did have a walk-in, sign-in, test-taking event that I believe they got quite a bit of people to come in and take the test and stuff like that. Other than that, I'm open to any comments, questions, or concerns.
Board members, any questions for HPD? Johnny May, you have your hand up? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Every time when I hear about building houses like 10,000, I really cringe because I always think about HPD, of potential crime, and it's hard to keep police officers. It's hard to recruit. It's hard to maintain, yada, yada, yada. So when the mayor and the governor talks about development, I really cringe because it's difficult for HPD to keep up with the population that they're thinking of building for. Thank you for all your service.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, that is a concern, and I know somebody brought that up at the mayor's town hall regarding the building of homes and houses and the impact of not just the police department, but the fire department as well. So thank you for that.
Mahalo, Board Member Crab.
Hi, Corporal Pagan.
Hi.
My question might be for you and or Councilmember Tupola. I wanted to bring up this question just in case you may leave during her report part. But I was wondering, we know that there was the enforcement at the depots area for the beach. Community members were asking if we could possibly do such a thing for sewers area. As part of that coordination.
Yeah, the cleanup itself was actually part of DPR's required maintenance and stuff like that with the beach and the erosion there, as well as the program, Councilmember Tupola's 3R program. Again, if the parks are willing to do it, we're just a support agency for that. So we're constantly working with them to see what we can do. As everyone knows, I don't want to say like I'm pushing it on anyone else, but we do have a lot of problem areas on the west side, and we wish we could get to every area, but even after the depots area, we've gotten a lot of complaints about where those people went, and now they're on other people's property. So we're still dealing with all of those challenges and trying to find solutions. So we'll work with them. We'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Board Member Endo.
So Peggy, I got a question for you. So our church recently got ripped off. So this guy was apparently it's not just one guy. It's an organization because they came to scope what we had, and they came to steal some stuff for sale. I learned ladies' cosmetics not cheap. The police, when he came Sunday, he scanned one eyebrow pencil, $15 one. Right? Anyway, you cannot steal from God because God took care of them. But the question I have is, and maybe our lawmakers have to get involved. When the detective came to speak to our church member and they asked about putting barbed wire around our fence in the church, they said it's illegal because it's unsafe. I said, unsafe? It's unsafe to put something that they're gonna hurt the burglars. I don't understand that law. That's why I bring it up. How can we change that law? Because I'm just wondering, how old is that law? Where you cannot protect your property anymore from guys jumping over the fence. I think something wrong with that picture.
Yeah, first of all, I do understand the cost of the eyebrow pencil. That's why I just use the permanent marker now instead, so you can save money. And they last longer. But yeah, in regards to the church, first of all, I apologize that happened to you. I'm not sure if it's actually illegal to put up the barbed wire. I think the issue is liability. Unfortunately, even if you're doing something to protect your home, there are people that are willing to sue you for the fact that they got hurt trying to get onto your property. And it's just a matter of making sure you have a really good lawyer to protect yourself. It happens all the time with people with dogs, right? They have a dog, they put a beware dog sign, and people come on their property and they get attacked, and all of a sudden they're suing the property owner for having a dog to protect their property. I can go check to see if it's actually a law, but I think it's one of those things that, it's more of a liability for the people that are doing it. Um, you know, by right, we should be able to legally protect our property. It's not like you're putting slingshot swords and all kind of other stuff at that fence, and it's a matter of people getting over your fence and getting hurt on your side. So I would definitely defer you to a lawyer that might be able to guide you in regards to liability issues with that.
Mahalo. If no other board members, I have in-person, online viewers. If you guys have any questions, just please raise your hand if you have questions for Honolulu Police Department. Just state your name for the record.
Austin Salcedo, Macau resident, KL resident. Aloha, Corporal Pagan. Thank you for joining up with the town hall meeting last Thursday at the mayor's town hall meeting, where we met all the directors of every office. But I brought up a concern. Over in Makaha area, consists of different addresses for Lahi Park, Makaha 7-Eleven, and what is called I consider it as the old Kernes building. It's a Makaha shopping center, but it consists of certain other entities as well too, besides Long's Drugs and O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Is there a reason why there was a measurement taken? How many times HPD had responded to 911 calls out there? We had a total measurement of last year, 2023. Listen to this, people. 762 years response calls to that area, particular area, just only in Makaha alone. Not including how many dispatch squad cars came to each call, 762. So we made awareness to the mayor, Langiardi. And besides that too, as well, I asked of you, Corporal Pagan, on these calls, what was actually the main issues? What was the calls for? Was it because of stabbing? We knew you had about several stabbings on the beach side. What else was there besides that? I asked the question before I go further.
First of all, I'd like to say that we did gather some stats and stuff like that, and this is not something that we normally do. We provide the normal stats, and it's island-wide for all the districts regarding the motor vehicle thefts, burglaries, thefts, and UAMVs and stuff. But we did research from that stuff. I'm not sure which number you're getting, but I have for 2020 to 24 current. There was a total of 677 calls for the 841160 Farrington Highway address. And from 2020 to 24 for the 841170 Farrington Highway, address 449 calls for service. In regards to the calls for service, you know, there's a whole variety. I mean, we list everything from alarm calls all the way down to weapons calls. And according to this report, in 2023, we had no weapons calls, or currently to 2024 weapons calls in that area. We did have, let me see, we had a bunch of suspicious circumstances, which could be anything from a car parked there that's not supposed to be, to someone looking into a building. We did have yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for, but
Maybe what I'm trying to say, Corporal Pagan, is what is attracting the bad behaviors in that area? Is there, it can't be Long's Drugs, 7-Eleven, or even the Chinese kitchen operation. There's other entities that's operating there. That's what I'm trying to get to.
yeah, no, I
It's not-
understand that, but you know, when an officer goes and makes a report, depending on the type of case and the officer's investigation, if the officer is obtaining information saying that, and the person says that they were at a particular establishment, that may be added to the report if it's relevant to the case. In order for me to give you all that information, I would have to go and research these 663 cases. And to be
Yeah,
honest, I don't have the time to go look through 663 cases to figure out
There's some,
where everybody was and what they did. You know, that area, the beat itself is a big area. But it's not, there's not a whole lot of things there. Big area meaning geographic wise, as far as establishment, there's not a whole lot there. So that is quite a bit of calls for that area. But then again, you know, like I said, to tell you exactly what each call was and where they came from, unfortunately, my guys don't have the time to go and search to
okay,
and
understand.
663.
Maybe what I'm trying to get to, there's other resources that's happening out there because we lack resources, we lack HPD. And basically there's other entities that's attracting this bad behavior. They suffer some type of psychological behaviors, butt naked on the bus stops and all that. Because there's a lot of children's schools that's entering the area. I'll go further on the community issues itself. But concerning about one of the business operations that's happening there, several at 84-1170 Farrington Highway. That's on the backside of the Cornet's property. There's operations like the detox center, clubhouse operations. So I noticed that paragraph 5.1 of this agenda tonight is giving recognition of this clubhouse, so-called clubhouse. I don't know if it's a partnership, I have no idea. But the neighborhood board never brought any type of transparency of what this award is all about to begin with, none of the committees, the whole house's committees, nothing was brought up of the why this recognition was made. So this issue is brought up to the mayors at last week, Thursdays, of this concern. So it's going to be investigated. So 5.1, I'm going to actually ask you folks, the neighborhood board, to
Austin,
table
if I
this.
can just stop you really quickly, because we're not on 5.1. If you have no more questions for the corporal, then I would like
That
to
is
let,
all. That's searching for
and then we
the
can
bad
continue
behavior.
that.
But this is safety. Remind you, this is safety for the children in the community. This is a big concern. This is a big issue.
You can bring
So
that up.
5.1, I have a big issue on that.
Yes,
I don't like that.
thank you, sir. And then if you could just state your name, please. Thank you.
Well, my name is Frank Montez. Hey, Corporal, how's it? Yeah, I've been biting my tongue for 8 years, and you know, talking about motor vehicles. What is the law on illegal, illegal motor vehicles, guys who driving illegally? You know, it's not fair for all us guys who pay to drive on the road, pay insurance. You know, I mean, there's so much illegal guys I see on the road nowadays. It's pitiful and it's not fair. What do the police department do when they stop people like that?
If you're talking about the illegal safety checks, I mean, not illegal, but
Yes.
expired safety checks and registration, it is a
Yes.
$70 fine per for a safety check, $70 for registration. It's $100 and $16, I believe, if you don't have proof of insurance or your driver's license on you at the time. It's $1,000 fine if you actually don't have insurance. So officers do stop and cite. The thing that with something like that, and it's the same thing we have with some of our other issues, is that the people that are doing it are taking the chance of either not getting stopped, or they figure if I paid a one-time $70 or $140, it's cheaper than the registration. You know, other people who don't want to deal with that over and over and don't want to deal with the $1,000 fine for the insurance, they're going to take care of that information and make sure it's all updated. So we do cite if the vehicles are ever involved in a accident, whether it's their fault or not, the officers will cite the person for any of the expired or missing documents. The hard thing is that a lot of times if people are driving a vehicle that's not registered to them, when we issue the citation, unfortunately, the citation goes to the car or the registered owner. If the car is transfer pending, it goes to the car, which means that that person would be responsible to pay that fine to register the vehicle. So again, if you got people that are driving cars that are barely surviving, they could try to save the money by not registering it. And if it ever gets to the point where they have to register it, they may just dump the vehicle. So it is a problem. We understand that. I know some of the legislators have been looking into doing some type of amnesty period to lower the past due fees at some point, but that I'm not sure where that is in the lawmakers' process. But yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Aloha Board, Blessing Star
Aloha.
Dela Cruz. Aloha Corporal. My name is Blessing Star Dela Cruz, sorry. I have a hot spot that I want to raise to you. Last year, there was a shooting across at Miley Beach. This year, in about maybe a month or two, there was a young lady screaming and running off, being mobbed by young generations. I did call the police and they came within 10 minutes. By then it was gone. 2 nights ago, it was older gentlemen running after a gentleman there. So I wanted to flag that with you and your departments. I commend your officers to let you know that that is a big hotspot. It could be commencing to where my neighbors are doing other activity, neighborhood thing, what they're gonna do, but could you possibly have someone look into it to not just that specific area, but look into the houses across the street and what's going on with the calls that coming in, so you guys can connect and do the investigation correctly, so the hot spot there is enlightened, because it's not only just the people at the houselessness, people on the beaches there. It's also the surrounding area.
I'm sorry, so this is at Miley Point, you said? Miley
The
Beach Park?
Miley Beach Park
Okay.
has been calling across, but next to sewers and all that. And speaking up for the sewers cleanup. I understand where everyone is concerned about cleaning up the community, the beaches and so forth and whatnot. But have you guys actually seen or been houseless in the situation where these people are in? That's what I wanted to bring out, not just to your HPD and to the mayor last meeting, but also to the community. I'm trying to reach out to all of you guys that these people are also humans.
Mahalo. We can
Yeah, we know
definitely
that,
touch
and
on that
I've
in
been trying
community
to
concerns.
get out there, but before you guys push them out, have the resources for them to have where they can go, so they don't go into other people's homes that are empty and face federal charges there and so forth. And it's just gonna continuously go on in circles. I've been doing this for so long, I'm tired. I want to help them. I know you guys want to help them too. We want our beaches and whatnot, but going this route, just keep continuously getting a 501 to pay this, to clean it up. Next month, they're gonna be back there. We're not gonna have homes.
Yeah, thank you for your mention regarding that. To be honest, and I told the mayors coordinator on houselessness, Sam Moku, that I am giving and providing an open invitation to anybody that wants to come out with me when we do our SPO notices and cleanup. Because, to be honest, the people that are at sewers, they are not houseless. They are choosing to be homeless. And there's a difference, yeah. When you choose to be out there and live that way, regardless of the services that are provided, your compassion for the community's compassion is only going to go so long when
Correct,
you offer
right.
people services and they keep denying it, and then people keep saying, well, you're not offering services. So like I said, if people want to come out and meet with us, I'll be more than happy to take you out myself. You can meet some of the people that we deal with, and you can hear them deny the services, because we're out there every time with Kealoha, West Oahu,
Correct.
as well as other outreach. So, it's a lot of times it is a choice of these people. So to say that the community has to give in to these choices
No,
is
I'm
not
not
fair to
saying
the
that.
community, yeah.
No, I'm not saying that. I did speak with the mayor and the federal regulations that the department heads from last week at the Nanakuli board meeting and explained, and we were getting 52,000 million, whatever, for these people and whatnot. But that's not exactly what I'm saying. There's the compassion and the understanding, and also, but give them the resources. We lack housing. We lack the community connection to where they can get help, even though we say they don't want to get help.
Yeah,
Okay, 'cause,
and
you know,
I don't want to keep dragging this on, but the thing is, again,
yes.
having housing available and having
Correct,
people willing to take that housing is two different things.
Right.
I mean, you can
Yes.
require the government to spend and build 250,000 homes for the homeless, but if none of them want to go into it because it's not in their area, or they don't want to
Right.
follow the rules, whatever,
Right.
then it's not
There's
going
a
to
lot
matter.
of factors that comes
Yeah.
into play with
Yeah.
it, right?
Right.
So we
Thank you.
both can disagree on certain things, and we both can agree on certain things, but we both should agree that this thing shouldn't go on continuously like this, because we're always gonna be butting heads. It's not humanity. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last question, and then we're moving on. Thank you, Corporal Pagan. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sherry Natuan, from Makaha area. Just have the safety concern in regards to Makaha area. Just not too long ago, we had the shooting that took place in front of my driveway, just because of a homeless person or a mental illness person that just happened to walk by, and the two officers happened to shoot the person, and that individual is either halfway dead right in our driveway. And that leaves a devastated memory for my daughter to pass through, because at that moment, I was waiting for my daughter right outside the perimeter where I was told to wait. I understand this safety is really is my concern, but it's just the action that was taking place publicly. I know that it's you guys' job to do it, but it's not my calling to say how to do your job. But it's just the action that was taking place. It's really devastating knowing that public that sees it out from the windows, and they view things, and the perspectives are interpreted in different languages, from their explanation. But the action from the police department, I just wanted to know if there's any way that you guys can rectify a little bit more, rather than just talking to the person and just shooting the person down. And the second question I have, I do apologize. It's regarding for like a cyber attack in regards for computer access. I know that the police officer, they take notes, they take report, provided all the detailed information to the officer, and I myself is a victim of one of those cyber attack. I own some crypto accounts, and just letting you know, when being informed that the report will be forwarded over to, I guess you guys call it a special agent that actually oversees that, I didn't get any calls back. And this was like from last year, November. I didn't get any follow-up calls, but I spoke with one of the police officer, and he said, just wait for the special agent to give you a call. But I just need some type of a follow-up to see if there is a special agent that actually followed up on a cyber attack in regards for cryptocurrency and so forth.
Okay, thank you for your question. In regards to the cyber attack, and that would go to our computer crimes division, this community, the criminal investigation division. So you can call them and give them the report number, and they can let you know where your case is. A lot of times, if there's not any further development, they kind of wait for something. If not, then unfortunately, the case may be pending something else coming in. So you might want to call them and just let them know that you're trying to find out the status, because it may go to a federal agency because it's something outside of the state. In regards to the shooting that happened outside your house, first of all, I want to apologize that your child and you guys had to see that. But it is important to understand a little bit more of the facts. Yeah, that the gentleman had a knife. He tried to attack the officers. The officers tried to use a taser. The taser was ineffective, and they had to resort to deadly force. So we have tools that we use to try to de-escalate situations, or less lethal tools. However, when they don't work, the officers unfortunately have to resort to higher force, or at this time, deadly force. To say that the officers shot him down, again, it's understanding that people understand officers don't want to use their firearms. They don't want to use their firearms. They use their firearms in order to protect themselves, their lives, and the lives of others. So as I tell the kids when I do my presentations, no officer wakes up in the morning and says, I hope I get to shoot someone today. Because if they did, they're basically saying, I hope someone tries to kill me today. And nobody wants to go to work with that thought. In this case, unfortunately, the gentleman was mentally ill, I believe. He did threaten people with a knife. He tried to come after the officers with a knife. And after being shot with a taser, he continued to advance towards the officer, and they had no choice. So unfortunately, as the incident is, again, we just ask the public to understand that sometimes there's more to the story than you may be getting online or from the news and stuff like that. And when we can, we'll try to provide more information. But our officers do go through training for critical instance training to try to talk down people that are mental illness. But again, the situation is basically dictated by those individuals. When they escalate and the officers have no other choice, then they have to do what they need to do. It's not a matter of officers just showing up and saying, hey, let's just shoot the guy and go on so we can go finish our lunch. So again, I apologize that your daughter and your family had to deal with that. But unfortunately, that's the times that we're living in right now, until we can get a little bit stiffer laws to deal with situations like that before they get out of hand.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much for your explanation. Another question I have, I do apologize, I'll make it quick. At the bus stop by Upena Street, is there any possible way we can request for a better lighting for the public to stand by at the bus stop? It's
We
very
can definitely see
desolate.
that in transportation, or
Okay.
yeah, we can definitely address that in another committee meeting.
Okay, all right, thank
Or we
you.
can bring it up in community concerns.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
not something the officers do, but thank you for that question.
Yeah, no worries. Just some stabbing incident that took place at the bus stop. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Kalamai, off of Corporal Pagan, Kupuna was sitting, I didn't know she was in line, but she has a quick question.
Not a problem.
Mahalo.
Mahalo lokana ke li'i ko'opua. Mahalo Corporal for all your responses, and more so for the support of our communities. I just have a question going back to the gentleman's concern about citations. And I know citations are because of the fact that you folks enforce the law. The laws are made by our government, whether it be the city and county or whether it be legislature. So when you talk about vehicles that are not registered or are very delinquent, and though the county may be considering some amnesty on that, part of this maybe could be considered is get those vehicles off the road. Because is it fair to us who are paying insurance for those vehicles who are uninsured, and then there's no avenue to subrogate to get our monies back because they're uninsured, they have no assets. So possibly, and that's for our government to consider pulling those vehicles off at the time that they are cited, those vehicles who don't have insurance. When you talk about accountability, as you mentioned, those citations goes to the owner of the vehicle and not the driver. Permissive use. So that means accountability on the owner of the vehicle. So when you lend someone your car, that's open game for whatever it is that's happening. But all I say is maybe to our city and county, to our legislatures, that they consider collaborating to help the solution in possibly pulling these vehicles off. Of course, that means you're going to have big places to store these vehicles. Of course, that means there's going to be an avenue as to what can be done if people don't respond. I'm hearing for tow yards, if people are not responding within a certain time, they have the legal right to sell that vehicle or do whatever else. We should be doing the same thing for these vehicles that are uninsured. Many years, vehicles are on that road uninsured,
Mahalo.
unregistered. City and county, all these taxes should be for our roads. We're not getting it, right? Because of this. Also, the military has free. When the military leaves, some of them leave their Opala behind. Who suffers? Our people in those taxes. I just wanted to say that. Mahalo. Thank you.
Mahalo. Is it a question?
It's a comment.
Okay, quickly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Aloha Chair, o Inez Koinoa, Keopuni o Hawaii Maka, Makaha Maiao. Aloha, officer. Just in response to the community member, I wasn't going to say anything, but I live in Makaha down the street from where that individual was shot. I just wanted to let our community know that I'm with them, especially with this mother and her family that we've seen the video, met with the mother of the victim and helped to establish his altar, taught the mother to make tea leaf lei that night that she was here to pick up his ashes. And like I said, saw the video that the daughter shot, and it was also posted online on 808 Viral. So I'm not the only one that saw it, and have kept them in prayer ever since. And so you're not alone. And as a community member, I just can't sit and be still and walk away tonight and let her think that she's alone in this. I know we've worked together. I'm here for community concern concerning the Heiau, so we have worked together. So I know that you and I do not necessarily agree on everything in the community, and the situation. I'm going to have to also disagree that the police do need better training, especially when they come into an area such as Makaha. That was poor training. I teach my 13-year-old to play paintball with law enforcement, and he would be able to handle a situation better than those officers did. And I think that you and I probably both agree. And I'm also praying for the officers. Like you said, they have to sleep at night as well. It brought me to tears. So I do pray for better training in the future. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you, Corporal Pekin, for all you guys do in our community in ensuring our safety. Any other questions? We appreciate your time, Corporal Pekin. Have a great night.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, so ocean safety, we don't have anyone online, but I do want to just make an announcement regarding their junior lifeguard summer program. Registration has already started May 1st to May 19th. If anyone is interested, please reach out to myself via email or cell phone, and I can post it in the chat as well. And I can send you the link. That's all I have to forward. The ages are 11 to 18, 17. Okay, and we are moving on to recognitions presented by, we have Board Member Crab that'll present the recognition for Makaha Clubhouse. Oh, I'm so sorry. We're on 4.
Okay,
I have my
thank you.
notes, so I looked past it. I'm so sorry. Filling a vacancy. Sorry, we're on 4. My apologies. We have 1 vacancy on our board in Subdistrict 2. And if there are any volunteers in person, please come and credential with so Subdistrict 2 is precincts 3 and 4, which is Makaha area. And it'll be credentialed and confirmed through Jeff, our neighborhood assistant. If anybody is online that lives in that area and would like to put your name in to fill the vacancy, you are more than welcome to at this time.
There were some people that were interested, but they weren't able to attend the meeting tonight. Um, but they have to be here in person, yeah. They can't, yeah. Oh, can they register their stuff beforehand and attend online?
So if they're interested in attending, or if they're interested in filling a vacancy and they're going to be online, they have to email me a photocopy of their ID with their address, just so that I can confirm that they're in the sub-district. I have the full list of address for each sub-district in the community, so they'll have to go about it that way. But you can, if you do know them, if they do have their email, please forward their email to me. That way I can be on the lookout for their emails.
Board Member Perry, you have a question?
I see Desiree DeSoto who's running for the House. If she lives in that district, if she would volunteer. Thank you.
Mahalo. Do you have another question, Board Member Perry? Okay. Anyone open for that? Okay. So if we don't fill it tonight, it'll roll over till next month's agenda. And again, restating what Jeff said, if you're interested, feel free to reach out to us or NCO and get in touch with him to give your documents ahead of time. Okay, so we are moving on to 5 recognitions, McCall Clubhouse, and presented by Board Member Crab.
Yeah, in recognition of your commitment to mental health advocacy and support, we commend Kohale Lahi Lahi, the Makaha Clubhouse, for their dedication to addressing the prevalence of mental health concerns within the Waianae Coast community, with 1 in 4 adults experiencing mental illness in their lifetime and in 1 in 25 facing serious mental health challenges. Your efforts in providing a safe haven for individuals to find connection, support, and community are truly commendable. Kohale Lahi Lahi, the Makaha Clubhouse's an innovative approach to psychosocial rehabilitation, treating individuals not as patients, but as valued members of the community, is a testament to your vision of social and economic inclusion. By focusing on each member's strengths, abilities, and goals, rather than their mental illness, symptoms, or history, you have transformed the lives of over 250 Clubhouse members since April 1st, 2008. Your unwavering commitment to fostering friendship, employment, and education opportunities in a caring and safe environment has undoubtedly made a significant impact on reversing alarming trends associated with mental illness, such as higher suicide, hospitalization, and incarceration rates. We extend our deepest appreciation for your tireless efforts in advocating for mental health awareness and providing essential resources to those in need. Your dedication serves as an inspiration to all of us. And today we have Utpala Walpole, Tanya Nikora, and Brandon Thomas with us. Thank you. And then you folks may approach, and we have some leis and the award for you folks. Thank you.
Mahalo and mahalo for attending. So moving on to board business, we have approval of Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 regular meeting minutes. I need a motion, please, to approve. Motion by Philip Ganaban to approve meeting minutes for April 2nd, seconded by Board Member Endo. Any objections to the acceptance or approval of these minutes?
Perry, object
Go ahead.
to the minutes is the way it's I don't like this new format. It's just very, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't say much. So for that reason, I, oppose, accepting the minutes. Thank you.
Sure. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, this is addressing what Board Member Perry is saying. So the style of minutes that we do is collective across our office. Our video is our main source of record for the meetings, which is why they're time-stamped. So the timestamp takes you to that portion of the meeting. You get to see everything that is said. We're not doing a transcribing style of minutes, which is what was done in the past. So collectively as an office, that is what we're doing, just in case anybody in the room was also interested or may have had a question on it.
But not everybody have access to computers, it's, people think that everybody has computers, everybody has cell phones, but not necessarily. So you cut in a portion of people that don't have those kind of technology. Thank you.
Mahalo. Okay, hearing no other objections. All those in favor to accept the meeting minutes, say aye. All those that oppose,
Harry opposed.
okay. Motion is carried. Okay, 6.2, approval of Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 agenda. So moved by Board Member Endo, seconded by Gannabon. Any objections to the agenda? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Harry, aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Okay, 6.3, report of board members' attendance to other meetings and board member declarations of conflict of interest regarding any issue under board business that would require disclosure or recusal. Board member Kalei Wilbur?
Attended the hearing for ocean safety. The 24,
103.
the 103 in person.
Richard Lanford, not board on their meeting, the church Tuesday.
Philip Ganaban, I am currently on the wastewater advisory board that will be hosting an in-person meeting at the city hall on Monday at 4:30 p.m. So I'll be representing Waianae community for the wastewater management.
Mahalo. This is if you already attended, but thank you for, Mr. Endo, any? Okay, for myself, just for transparency, because there was multiple board members there, I attended the shelter gala. Okay, so moving right along, 6.4 committees. So we are going to be restructuring the committees and I'm gonna read them off on what they'll be. And I'll actually, you can decline the position, and we'll see if we can fill it with another board member. But I'm gonna be stating who will chair these committees. So we have transportation, parks and ocean safety. Sorry, okay. First committee, transportation. Second committee, parks and ocean safety. Third, housing and homelessness. Fourth, natural resources, water and land. The fifth, Hawaiian affairs. Sixth, health and public safety. Seventh, education, and eighth, business and economic development. So for transportation, I have Board Member Richard Lanford. For transportation, Chair. Thank you. Parks and Ocean Safety, I have Calais Wilbur. Basically, do you guys accept? You, okay. Mahalo. Housing and Homelessness, Cross Crab.
I accept, but can I add Mr., or if Mr. Endo agrees, Mr. Endo, would you be willing to be co-chair?
And then I have Natural Resources, Water and Land. I have Johnny May Perry.
No, thank you.
And then I have Hawaiian Affairs. I have Kauko Ohu. I don't see him online. And I will just confirm that with him. Health and Public Safety, I don't have anyone as of right now. And then Education, Mr. Endo. So we're restructuring so if you can chair Education. Okay, and then Business and Economic Development, Philip Ganaban. Okay, and Mr. Ganaban is actually adding, are you sure? He's going to be joining Natural Resources, Water and Land to that. And then if I can ask Health and Public Safety. In the past, we actually had it combined with Education.
Yeah.
So Mr. Endo, would you like to recombine that? Okay, so we're gonna have Education, Health and Public Safety, which used to be together in the past. Okay, thank you guys for taking your nominations. In the case that we do fill our vacancy, they can also kokua on these committees. I am definitely available for assisting on any of these as well. And for right now, the meeting times will still remain because the rooms are already reserved. So the first Thursday is transportation, and more than likely Hawaiian Affairs, if that's going to be agreed upon with Kauko'ohu. And then the second Tuesday is Parks and Ocean Safety. Third Tuesday is Housing, Homelessness, and Education and Public Safety, Health and Public Safety. And then yours was the third Thursday. And then Business and Economic Development and Natural Resources will be on the third Thursday. So our,
Chair, I want to piggyback that committee as well as piggyback,
you would like the Vice Chair?
yeah, as well as the Parks and Rec.
Mahalo for that. Okay, our minutes and then our next agenda will reflect the times for the future meetings. So we won't have any committee meetings until next month. Yeah, it's fine. 6.5, so we're moving on to 6.5, revisit subcommittees and subcommittee participants. It's really not necessary to call them subcommittees, they're committees. So if you would like to participate in a subcommittee, you're more than welcome to reach out to the chair. But what I want to discuss as board is, are we going to see our committee members? Aloha. Okay. Aloha. Okay. Are we going to CC all of the committee the committee members that sign up to participate or serve on the committee, are we gonna CC them in every single email that you receive? Like what do we want the protocol to be? And how are we gonna have a list of them so we know who's serving on that subcommittee? So that it's very much organized, because a lot of committee members didn't know where they stood in and how they could serve.
Yeah, well, if we follow the past practice was when you actually attend the committee meetings and you elect to be a committee member at that particular point, we would find what is the best avenue for you, whether it is if you are computer wise or if you have computer, then we can do it that route or uh, uh, directly with your phone or so on and so forth. But I think we should wait until we find out the committee members that want to join, what is the best possibility for them first. Thank you.
Would you like to put a motion on the floor?
Sure. I make the motion according to that. Is that explainable, Jeff, on that side? You got it? Yeah. What we're looking at is we don't actually put it on paper of how we're going to notify them as they come to our meetings and then volunteer to be one of our committee members. What is the easiest route for them, whether it's through their iPhones, if they have any, or, you know, whatever process it is that we can get communication out to them. Or if they just normally get sent out through the commission as the regular notices come out when we do the agendas. Okay.
To go into that, I guess the best recommendation would be to have like a sign-in sheet, like similar to how I have, whatever contact information they're comfortable leaving, whether it be email or phone. You can go about it that way. Whoever's interested in being more involved in the committee, not just being just a participant, but would like to actively help the chairs and co-chairs. That would be my sole recommendation, just to get their contact information early. And if you do send out emails, if you can CC me on those, just in case I can aid in helping get in contact with these people as well.
Okay, we can do it. We can do it at committee meetings and let them know then. Oh, thank you.
Mahalo. So do we need to move for a vote? Okay. Are we in agreement though? I have Board Member Perry's hand up. Go ahead, Board Member Perry.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment because last month there was some residents saying that they were not notified. Okay, so that evening I checked our website for any agendas or meetings per se held by Jonathan, and there was 0. So I don't know how he conducted meeting because these residents came forward and were claiming they were not notified. But I checked our website, no agendas, no meetings. So I don't know what happened, but if it's not documented, it didn't happen. That's all I wanted to comment. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Chair, she is correct. There was no meetings that was held by the previous member of our board. For some reason, there was some personal things that happened to his family at that particular time. And then he is no longer with our board currently. So yes, you're correct, Barry.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
So if you're asking for a solution for it, I would say if they're still want to volunteer for whichever committee, please feel free to attend the meetings now, and we will try to work with them and see what's the best for them. Thank you.
Okay. So if you are interested in serving on any of the committees, please attend the next committee meeting or talk to us after to see when the committee meeting is. Okay, and discussion and positions on SB 3202 and Resolution 2481. These hearings No, only for 2481. The hearing took place on May 1st as well as the 103 and 92, I think. It was requested by a board member who is not currently at the table for us to discuss and take a position on SB 3202 as we were emailed by senators and their position on that particular measure. And then resolution 2481, Councilwoman, do you want to just share what is 2481 briefly?
Sorry, are you talking about the ocean safety one or no?
No, 2481 is the last one that
The
you.
Lulu
Convenience
Lake.
center,
Yes.
Yes.
The landfill.
Yeah, so I had put out a resolution.
convenience
just-
center.
Yeah, thank you, board member. Yeah, so I had put out a resolution because I kind of feel like despite the city's efforts to try to help our convenience center, it's still not convenient. So first time I complained about it, they said, oh, we put up cameras because you know how it closes down when it's full. So I guess you could look at a camera and say, oh, it's closed, and then you could not go. That still doesn't help the fact that we need it open, right? Then I asked if we could have a different site, and then they said, okay, now we put up compactors. So the compactor took the space of 2 bins, and now it's still the same story. So I didn't like that either. So I suggest that we just go 24/7, that they keep it open and they keep changing out the bins. And I also had put Department of Parks in there, and I had asked, what more can be done? And I met with the mayor today and I brought it up again. To be honest, why is there trash everywhere? So we have a landfill, right? We all know that we've had it for decades. So then why do we also have to put up with a crappy convenience center and parks that still don't have the trash removed regularly? So the resolution is a suggestion. And of course, the administration was, oh, we don't know if we can do that, whatever. So I need to work out all of the details. But I just think that in general, I think we all agree that the convenience center should, maybe if they can't do 24/7, they just need to put more bins somewhere that we can actually fill in and remove trash. Because the fact that I have to remove trash from beach parks or that we have to do cleanups, I mean, I told the mayor today, we need more support for all of the trash removal. And if you guys still can't find a location for the landfill, even more, we're gonna have to endure this pain for more years. So that's what the resolution is about. And you can read it. I am probably gonna have to modify it because I do want the resolution to actually reflect what the city will do. I don't want to pass a resolution that nobody's gonna follow. I want it just like Carroll Beach Park, line for line for line, where we check they did it, check they did it, check they did it. So I did put in there that I think that they should have a location for the landfill by December because that's what they said they would do. And they said they can't do that, so they want me to take it out. So I am gonna, see what the administration says to me so that the resolution is true to what we think can be done for our community. And I'm gonna just keep pushing for that.
Mahalo. Okay, so any discussion on 2481? Are we in support of that? Do we want to come up with a testimony as a board to support it or everybody individually?
Well,
My hands are up.
can we comment?
Go ahead, Board Member Kalei Wilbur.
I know that for Park and Recs, there's only, for our whole entire coast, there's only like 8 workers that clean the parks, and that goes all the way from Keaus all the way to Ponakai Hale. So we very limited on the personnel, the staff. I know whereas just the soccer complex in Waipio, they have 12, and they get a lot of their money from UH because UH funds their complex and so on. So yeah, and in Mililani, they have associations that do help offset. For our community, we have such a large amount of acreage on the coastline and stuff like that, and it's widely used not only by our community but other communities come down and set up big parties and big functions during the weekends and stuff like that, and there's a lot of trash on Monday.
So what is your suggestion?
Well, I know they've tried to use the dumpsters method, and that's been proven that it doesn't work because everyone likes to set fires to them. The 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 people, or I just say people like to sift through the trash and look for recyclables and stuff like that. So they end up making a bigger mess and far worse than what dogs would do. You know, a lot of it is it comes down to some type of policing. If we could get, this would have been a great question for Corporal Pagan, if we could actually get Park Watch back in here and have people and do more enforcement on the permit side. First, a lot of these big functions that go on, I don't think the permit fee is enough for.
Well, I have already suggested them that for large permits, like ones that are pulling for over 100, that they should hire special duty, period.
Yeah.
Because if you rent like a cafeteria, you got to hire special duty when you do a grad party or baby party. So I've told it to them. I can tell them again. But the 5 things that I'm going to suggest to them is, one, that we convert all of the trash cans into what they have in Waikiki, which is a way that when you put trash in, you can't dump it back out. So we just had a meeting about that today with Waikiki and how they got it from Waikiki Business Association, because you can't turn it over and dump it out. Secondly, I'm going to suggest that we come up with a more regular schedule with DOT. Jung Yang called me from HDOT yesterday, said, Andrea, when do I know when piles are coming on Farrington Highway that I can come pick up? I said, why don't we just make a better schedule and put you on the schedule instead of you wondering when to come and remove trash? So I think DPR, them, and we need one other agency, which I think is EMV, that we have a more regular trash pickup schedule. With over 500 people on the beach, if you like divide that by how many like gray bins that they would have versus the gray bins we have, the trash removal that needs to happen way more frequent than a regular park. At a regular park, you don't have people living there. So I think that that part will also help. Laura Thielen is going to give us more park staff, but obviously you got to fill it. We have no second hour and overnight shift. We're going to start having that after this budget. We have no compactors in our district. She's going to increase that too. So I think, Director Thielen's trying to make her steps forward. My whole thing is to address, and everyone knows here, like, address trash. And so I really feel like if the parks can't do it, you're right, they don't have a lot, then what can we do? Let's not keep making excuses. What can we do? Do we pull from ENV? Do we pull from HDOT? Do we make a regular schedule? So I'll work out some of those details, but I appreciate you looking out for them. They really are very helpful to us.
Thank you.
Okay, and I have Board Member Perry, and then we're going to go to Board Member Ganaban.
Thank you, Andrea. I checked on the May 1st meeting. Council was 4-1 vote in approval. Testimony came from 2 people from this resident and 2 from outside in support. I like the idea of 24/7. As you know, all the hotspots in this community, you work endlessly with you and your volunteers. I like what you said, regular basis. So maybe the city need to hire a contractor, got junk. I don't know, for example, that company that they can just go up and down the community and collect all this junk. And maybe there should be another convenience center in Nanakuli. But I like the idea of 24/7. Okay, and lastly, on the landfill, if the mayor if his legacy is about honesty, he said no landfill in Waianae. So if that's his legacy as being the mayor, no landfill in Waianae. And that's my closing remark. Thank you, Council Member.
I will say that in 2021, I suggested that they get a new site and then they open it up in Kapolei. So I had to explain to them that from the farthest part of my district to Kapolei with traffic, it's over an hour. So it's not really convenient to say, oh, well, the people in Waianae can just go to Kapolei. So to me, that's still not addressing the convenience center. And I think, secondly, to the point she made about like the pickups and whatnot, I do think that we need more space. And if the city can't acquire a piece of land, then just lease something maybe in Nanakuli so that we have like a midpoint. So we don't need to buy a property. Maybe we lease it and see if it'll work. I don't know. I was joking to put it on Pocket because all the trash is there already. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, we should put it somewhere where, we know that there's space and we can collect.
Yeah.
Farrington Highway.
Board Member
You want to
Ganaban.
make it convenient, okay?
It's
Mahalo,
interesting
Board
that
Member Perry.
you're bringing, and I'm glad this is being brought up tonight because I was just looking at some of my research stuff and it has been on plasma conversion in towable equipment trailers. Star Tech was one of the companies that came out with that. And then you could easily locate that at the convenience centers. So you wouldn't really have anything to take away. And that's something I think has been, people have been trying to come up with the city and it's always being shut down as being too expensive. But at some point, we have to look at it as a reality. We don't have land space. There's too much regulations and we have to look at green recycling that will be able to address all types of trash.
Are you talking about green waste?
About everything. So
Yeah.
plasma conversion will take all solid waste in any form, except radioactive material, and bring it down into, say, 900 feet of barrel would be converted to 1 barrel of slag that is recyclable after that. So you know what I mean? So these are technology that exist and that we need to start looking forward to. And that way you don't have to open up new convenience centers. You don't have to open up more landfills. We don't even have to deal with landfills because it's going to be that less of trash. Because H-Power is an obsolete type of program. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's,
Well, I think H-Power is a different conversation for a different time, but I will say that they also removed bulk trash removal. So now you have to make the appointment. And I had mentioned to them, how many people in my community make the appointment?
correct.
Because back in the day, when it was certain day, a week or a month that you knew, people would take it out. So is it that maybe not as many people know about the appointment system? Because they were saying, oh, we don't have trucks, we can't run this. So I would like to know how often we use it. So they're going to pull that stat for us.
Good.
Because a lot of the trash I clean is bulk trash. So
Yeah,
maybe
and
it's
that could
related.
accommodate the beaches, right? Or we just have people call in every day to make a bulk pickup appointment for their beaches.
I don't know.
It's a way to beat the system, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
I have a comment on the bulk trash. That the
Go
law.
ahead, Board Member Kalewalber.
Thank you. The law states that the bulk trash is per parcel. Our parcel has 4 units on it. And each unit, they have, stuff they got to get rid of. But we're only allowed 5 items.
Yeah.
And that means each of the units can only bring out 1 item. Whereas other people that have a single family home on that parcel can bring out 5 items.
I
So-
guess the thing I don't get is if we're gonna limit the residents on trash, but the trash still gonna go to H-Power, then why? Because when I do the cleanup, it's not like I'm taking it anywhere else. I'm taking it to the same place that other people would have taken it. So that's why I don't get the limitation on the convenience center either, is because if people want to get rid of their trash, why are we making it so hard?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I just feel like it's almost like the harder you make it, the more we have illegal dumping because it's just, barrier. Okay, no bulk trash pickup. Okay, 1 item per person. Okay, 2 tires. Okay, close the hours at this. Okay, convenience center in Kapolei. Like, I don't know how much harder we can make it.
Do you know? Yeah, thank you for that one. Do you know if we're getting any trash trucks for the Waianae area? Because I know they've been borrowing from Pro
I
City.
put in money to get Parks a new trash truck and ENV a new trash truck for SPOs. Yes.
Okay, really
Look-
quickly. We're gonna have time with council member off of these topics, but can we get to this agenda first? The agenda item that we're currently discussing. But we definitely can converse when it's her presentation time. Right now, we're specifically talking about 2481. And so do we want, Board Member Perry, do you have an additional question regarding 2481?
I just want to commend council member, the 24/7. I can give you a whole list of why nots, but let's not concentrate on why nots. Let's
Right.
concentrate of doing it, okay? And
Yes.
whatever costs, whatever else is involved, that's up to city council. Let's not talk about why this, why we cannot, why we should talk, why we should have it, period. And
Yes, so do
that-
we want to stand in support?
I
Okay.
make a motion to support 24-81.
Okay, so we will have a testimony drafted. I will send them out to the board members for your review before submitting it to council member, if everybody is in agreement to stand in support of this result.
That's the motion, so we take a vote.
Yes, the motion hasn't been seconded. Thank you, Philip Ganaban. I was restating what we're doing currently.
You.
Okay, Jeff, you want to do a voice vote? Okay. All those in favor of supporting Resol 2481, say aye.
Perry, I.
All those of, oh, actually, everybody said aye. Thank you. The motion is carried, so we will have a testimony submitted for that, in support of that. If yes, we will go back to that discussion. If you guys have any specific ideas of what you guys want to add and include in this testimony, please submit it to me ahead of time because I've already drafted a support and oppose, but I wanted to include whatever ideas you guys have. So please send that to me as soon as possible. Board Member Perry, did you have another question regarding this?
No, this regarding Senate bill.
Okay, yes. Okay, we're going into discussion on Senate Bill 3202. I hope everyone was able to review that email. And I got an immediate response from board member stating that they wanted to discuss this. So Board Member Perry, go ahead.
Okay, I oppose Senate Bill 3202 SD2. I've read the testimony, April 1st testimonies. Council members say oppose. Hawaii Kai Neighborhood Board oppose. Esther Kiaina oppose. Kailua Board oppose. Manoa Board oppose. Comments by OHA, comments by DPP. This is to increase density, okay? Increase density because real estate is so precious on an island that, let's say, 1 acre parcel, okay? This is just an example. One acre parcel, 10,000 units. That's density. Okay, that's just an example of what this whole thing is about. Some time ago, they were talk about in Nanakuli, Hawaii Housing Authority, single family homes that's owned by the state. The state is thinking of building high rise in that unit. And that's increasing density in that small area. So if there's like 300 homes, density, you're talking about 2,000.
Yes,
That's
Board
what
Member Perry,
density
so
is
your
accepted.
position on this is to oppose.
Yeah,
Thank you.
oppose for those reasons.
Anyone else that has comments? I think that the majority of us, if not all of us, opposes statements in this bill, but go ahead, Board Member Gannabon.
Yeah, and I oppose only because the ADUs actually were for existing homes for individuals who required extra living space. However, it has been taken advantage of by developers by subdividing or CPRing large properties and adding the ADUs on it. And so that made it an impact on the existing communities without having to do further expansion on the infrastructure of the area. And that is where the problem is. It's if they can block the developers from putting on the ADUs on new proposed housing in these communities, that would be the direct way to go.
And before I take any more comments, I just also want to state, so yes, session is already over on the state side in legislation. But for us as a neighborhood board, for us to just take a stance on this or a position on this for future reference is why this is in discussion, just in case anybody has any questions about that. But anybody else feel differently, or we're gonna take a vote on? Okay, I'm so sorry. Mayor's rep, you raised your hand regarding 3202?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't think the governor has signed the bill yet. So, you could still lobby the governor on that bill. I just want to put that out there.
Mahalo for that.
And the
Um,
senator's last day is the end of the month, so we have time.
I believe Jeff stated that we have Rep Gates raising his hand.
Yes, aloha.
Aloha.
I just wanted to make a point on SB 3202. I think the intent of the legislature when we drafted this bill and as we passed it out of the legislature this year is to give the state more ability to influence how we create more housing for many of our family members who are leaving our island as we speak. And I know a lot of the opposition has been coming from outside of the community in terms of Manoa and communities that have these, I want to just say affluent communities who don't want to see more development in their community, but they're okay with development on the west side. But when it comes to anything that's going to impact their way of life, they're opposing it. And I think that our community has taken the brunt of the fact that they don't want more development in urban core and outside of our community because the development has been coming more to the west side. And they know that the community in terms of the opposition isn't as great as Hawaii Kai or Manoa or these affluent communities. So I think we need to put it in perspective. The ADUs also make a real lifesaver for many of the people that are not able to afford a home. If you're a family who has owned their property, you can allow your family member to build an ADU size unit on your lot and be up to code with the city and state government. So I think that's also the bigger picture of how we keep residents here. I lost my brother to the mainland. He moved out because the ability to find a home in our housing market isn't realistic with the family. And I think that sentiment sticks with me, and that's why we supported moving this measure forward. I think that the counties have to do a better job with DPP and their regulations and their coding to allow for our communities to be able to have more flexibility and freedom with their property. And I think that's the bigger issue that we need to discuss with DPP and all the issues that they're facing there. But I'll leave it at that and open for questions when my time comes up.
Mahalo. So actually we are at 8:04, and if you have any comments, we can definitely address it at that time. But if board, and you have a discussion on SB 3202?
And that's which one? Because you know how much bills we deal with every time? Which one is that about the developer?
Yes.
And that's within our community?
This is if where our community stands, whether we support this bill or we don't, and we as a board we will take a vote whether we're gonna oppose it or like what position we're gonna take to support our community.
And we have our legislatures on?
We do, but we will address
I want to
specific
address
concerns
things
to
to
them.
you. I want to address it, okay? I
Just
oppose
on 3202. Okay.
about the developing and all that.
Mahalo.
I'm against it.
1 minute. Okay. Against it.
The reason I'm against it, you're gonna keep building and building. You worry about the homeless encampment on our beach, but you're building. Gentrification is what causing our biggest problem here. They're not building for the people. They're building for their own back pocket. And Cedric, come on, brother.
Mahalo, auntie.
Stop your purple, amber, pink, or white, whatever you
Please
call
keep
it.
to the bill.
It's over, brother.
Mahalo. Okay. So, does Johnny Board Member Perry, you have a question or a comment on 3202?
But just for clarity, we taking the vote tonight on it?
Yes, so
It's on the
that,
agenda, and it was said that it's not too late, so we can get in something to the governor.
the legislation,
And
yes,
our senator is still our senator until the end of this month.
yes.
May
Okay, so,
I comment on the trend? For clear understanding.
really quickly, you will have the remaining 32 seconds.
You know, I understand the bill is to help with the local population. However, the trend is that the investors' money grabs that property, or they will influence the purchase of that property and then redevelop it. And that money is not from Hawaii. A lot of it is from outside California, and where everybody that has sold or they flip houses. And that's what is really causing this gentrification, this whole everybody getting pushed out. People that have property, families that have properties can add extensions. They can build on the house that they have and house family accordingly. They've done it in Kailua, they've done it in Hawaii Kai, they've done it all over this island. So don't let this be being the hood pulled over your eyes. This is all to favor those that have money, and that it influences only investors to come in, grab the property, flip it, and make it impossible for us to live here.
Okay, so we're calling the question.
I second. Anybody who motion of a motion?
I made a
please?
motion not to
I
support.
second that motion. I second the motion.
I
Okay,
just
so
want to
all
add
those,
also, Chair, you know, if you live on Homestead, we don't have
Yes.
those kind of, luxuries to earn income. We don't. We don't have all those luxuries. And
mahalo.
Kale is correct. Kale Wilbur is correct. This is
Mahalo.
designed for developers, not for the local people, not for the homeless. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a roll call vote if we could, just to make sure that everybody takes their vote and their stance to ensure that so I'm gonna. Mahalo, Jeff.
This is to not support, correct? It's 3202, okay. So I'm just gonna go down the list that I have. Please use your microphone to vote for the record. Member Crab,
I need more time to educate
Oh
myself.
my
on it.
gosh,
So,
really?
abstain.
Mahalo.
this is not a place for those types of comments or reactions to be made. Please respect.
Okay, thank you. My
Thank you, Member Perry.
apologies.
Thank you, Member Perry. So just to clarify, Member Crab, you're gonna take it as an abstention? Gotcha. Member Endo? Member Ganawan? Member Lanford?
Use the microphone, please. Solomon.
No. Member Perry?
No,
Wahilani is absent. Member Clay Wilbur?
Oppose.
Gotcha. And Member Tiana Wilbur.
Oppose.
All right, well, the motion passes to show opposition to Senate Bill 3202. Again, just another reminder for those online, those in the room, I know it was addressed already, but this is an open meeting where we keep a respectful atmosphere. Please don't make comments or react in those manners, regardless of who is making a comment, both community member and board member elect. Thank you.
Yes, please, thank you.
again, I apologize.
Mahalo,
Somebody
Board
work in the Capitol.
Perry.
Chair, can I make a motion that we discuss the Reso 2450 that is going to be in hearing next week, the 15th, on the 15th.
Is there a second? Seconded by Ganaban. So motion on the floor by Kalei Wilbur to discuss Resol 2450. This is in regards, actually. And it was seconded by Board Member Ganaban. So we are adding this to the agenda. Can you clarify that?
Yes, to add to the agenda.
Just a recommendation. This does need a 2/3 vote, but I would recommend not adding this to the agenda just because this was not an agendized item prior to the mail out for the community to know, as well as those that, of course, see our website online. So I would recommend not doing this, not adding it to the agenda, but adding it to a further month's agenda, just so the public has notice to discuss this as well.
So with that recommendation, board members and community, if you guys can please, I'm just gonna elaborate on this resol. 2450 was drafted by our councilwoman, and that is in support of creating ocean safety, having their own department. And she can maybe explain a little bit more, when it's her time to present. But I feel like a lot of the testifiers that day came from our community and was in support of this measure. Even though it wasn't on the agenda that day, they opposed the 24-103 and was in support of her original measure, 2450. So we will take your recommendation, Jeff, and we will not add that to the agenda. So thank you for that. We are moving right along. Time check, we're at 8:12. And if we have Sarah Aiko still online for Oahu Penta. Hi, thank you for waiting.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Mahalo.
Thank you. My name is Sarah Aiko. I'm the event founder and race manager of the Oahu Pentathlon. I actually presented this event to the board the last 2 years, and this is now our third public year with this, or holding this event without incident. This is an ultra endurance community-based event to circumnavigate the island by swim, run, paddle, carry, and bike within a 24-hour period. It's also a fundraiser for Point One Vision, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And this year specifically, we've partnered with the Apanui Foundation, who provides educational resources for Hawaiian youth. The section of this event that particularly impacts the Waianae neighborhood is a portion of the carry or the sandbag carry and its transition point to the final bike leg back to the windward side of the island for the finish line. The carry begins on the north end of Kaina Point Trailhead, and the athletes come around the point. Athletes will be carrying a 45-pound sandbag along the trail onto the roadway and are instructed to heed all regular traffic and pedestrian laws. The last 2 years, the transition point actually has been at Makaha Beach Park, but after last year's event, we were asked if we could reconsider to use Ke'au Beach Park, which is what we're requesting this year with our permits. At this point, the athletes would make, at this point in the event, the athletes would make a quick transition to the bike section, as mentioned. We would want to have one event flag, positioned at this location, as well as a few volunteers posted at that transition point. We would anticipate about 50 to 60 total athletes passing through the area spread out between about 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. They'd obviously be very spread out just given the nature of the event and the duration and how many miles they've covered at that point. So we really don't expect more than a few passing through at one point. But that peak traffic time of the athletes would probably be from around 6 to 8 p.m. Being a community-based event, my ultimate mission with this is to create an experience or an event that the island really can feel proud of and excited for, including the neighborhoods such as Waianae. And that said, I'd like to offer, and I did the same thing last year, but offer a discount to any athletes or teams specifically from the Waianae neighborhood. And if anyone on the board or within the community would like to put them in contact directly with me, then we can take care of that. Please feel free to send me a message. Either, I don't know if it can be done in here or an email to Sarah, SARAH, at oahupentathlon.com. As mentioned, we have not had any incidents with this event so far. It's all gone very smoothly. And I just want to make sure to address any concerns of the community or the commission, questions, comments, concerns to help clarify what our request is. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Board members, any questions? I see board member Khalid Wilbur.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for giving us the updates on this triathlon you guys are doing here. There's a biathlon.
Pentathlon, so 5 events.
5 events. And this leg is that you guys are requesting for Ke'au Beach Park to either transition from what, running to cycling?
From carry to cycling.
From what? Excuse me?
A sandbag carry to cycling.
Oh, okay. And are these bicycles, are these guys escorted by vehicles or are they, I mean, obviously they have things that like, usually triathlons or these things have an escort vehicle that changes out bicycles and stuff like that. So I'm kind of concerned about Cal Beach Park being overwhelmed with, if
Yeah.
there's 50 participants, there's gonna be 50 vehicles trying to get into an already pretty busy park.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So team or athletes or their teams would be bringing those bikes in, but we don't actually station the bikes all there at one time. They simply come, meet their athlete, make that quick transition. And again, it's relative to a lot of events such as this, like triathlons or marathons or things like that. We really don't end up with a large clump of people at this point in the day. They've traveled a good, 70 miles and having had started at sunrise that morning. So, I mean, I think last year we probably didn't have more than 3 to 5 athletes in that area at one time. And our goal with the event is to kind of keep it at the smaller scale, obviously because the scope of the island, the communities we're passing through, there just simply isn't the capacity to be having, say 50 people in one place at one time.
But still the big concern is that this is on the weekend, this is a widely used park. I mean, it gets
Yeah.
pretty crazy over there. And for you guys to even do a transition in that area, I mean, you basically would have to reserve, get special permitting to reserve one of the entry points, because there's no way that you'll be able to navigate any of that with the locals that, and their events that go on there. So I would suggest you spend a weekend or a Saturday and come down and look at that venue and see how busy it gets on a Saturday or Sunday.
I've spent time over there. I guess my question could be if the board or yourself even would actually prefer that we go back to Makaha Beach Park.
It, then we're talking about a whole nother, how has it been in the past at Makaha?
We've had no issue. Again, because I know it sounds like it might be a lot, but again, because the event gets so spread out, there really isn't more than a few people there at one time. It really is fairly small scale. I live on the windward side, so I know I don't know those areas super intimately, but I do spend enough time over that I know that they can get very busy. But again, knowing that the scope of our event has stayed small enough to avoid that being an issue.
And you guys are utilized mostly the parking lot side, not the beach park side.
Correct.
You need more of the parking lot.
Yeah, correct. Just essentially right along the roadway there. We don't even, because people don't end up hanging out there or staging there. It really is just a quick transition point. And we have the volunteers there, one, to make sure that things keep moving quickly and to just manage anything going on there. But so far it has not been an issue. I bet you we haven't had more than 10 to 15 people there even at one time. And that's probably like peak traffic time.
Okay, well, I'll leave it to any questions or comments, right? Community and other board members for us to come up with a decision on this.
Well, not a decision, but this was just letting us know the event taking place in the community. But I have Board Member Perry with her hand up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilbur, for all your due diligence. But I'm sure this is not your first rodeo. I'm sure you know what is required. Hats off to them, want to ride on Farrington Highway in Waianae. We have a Planet Fitness Center at Waianae Mall. If you want to take a chance and send them a flyer, maybe they may want to participate.
Okay.
I'm so happy that Planet Fitness is in Waianae. It's been utilized. They haven't closed, so I guess membership is good. Someday I'll make it there. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. That's a great suggestion. Thank you for that.
Okay, if anybody has any questions, or it comes up afterwards, please feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you with Sarah. I don't see any more questions, Sarah, but I appreciate your patience. And, oh, I do have Board Member Lanford.
Chair, I have one question for, when is your function going to take place?
Yes, sorry, I actually didn't say that. It's on August 3rd, which is a Saturday.
August 3rd. Would it be too much to ask you to attend our committee meeting at Parks and Rec so you can give us a preview of where or how it, how you start and at what point of the race that you're going to be coming through our area? That would make it easier for us
Yeah, could you?
for this month.
Actually quite sure maybe what that meeting is that you're mentioning.
Do you have your map?
I do. Yeah.
Map,
Can
can you share screen real quick? And we're just gonna give this about 2 more minutes and we're gonna move to the next presentation.
Am I
He's
able to
gonna give you
share?
access. Yes. Oh, you have access now.
Okay, so if I click share content. Yep, sorry, give me just one moment.
So the window has to be open first before you, so that it can be accessed through the WebEx.
Got it. Okay, let me open that.
Go ahead while she's doing this.
Aloha, thank you, Sarah, for considering Waianae as a place to have your event. But I think that was an awesome idea that you might consider the mall. The mall is in the back of the mall. There's a really big parking space for that and a lot of area to transition.
Really quickly, Board Member Perry didn't offer the mall. She asked if she wanted to drop off some flyers to advertise the event.
But it's still a good place. Only
They
because,
come around the other side is what
okay,
happened.
I see, okay, okay.
The athletes might have some trouble getting that far with their safety.
Oh, okay, because that would have been a good place to transition.
Yeah,
Because it's a good
otherwise it'd be
turnaround. We've had events back there, right?
Around the bend, they'll be carrying sandbags, I believe, and then going to
okay.
the,
I guess that's
Are
not
you
the
able
place
to
for you
see my
then.
screen share right now?
yes, we can
Okay.
see it. Thank you.
Yep, so this is the carry course. So you can see over here, they start at the trailhead and then they'll come around the point and then coming towards the beach park here. So they just make that transition from trail to roadway. Then this is a close-up of what we've submitted with the permit request, but I'm up for potential changes to this, but essentially just a quick stop along the roadway here. We're actually not going to do the tent. Sorry, that actually needs to be removed, but just the event flag. It's about like a 10 to 12 foot flag so that athletes can see where they're at. This is where they would just hop on their bikes and head onto the bike course, which is here, which they'll come back to Kailua where it ends.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
Mahalo for that. Go ahead.
Thank you for that map. The roadway, yeah, that'd probably be the best thing for that area. One of the questions was, do you feed your volunteers?
They get like snacks and drinks, but not full meals. Yes.
And our next parks meeting is gonna be on June 11th.
Sorry, could you say that again? You were kind of
Right.
breaking up.
Our next park meeting, the Parks and Rec meeting will be on June 11th, 6:30 in the Waianae District Park.
Got it. Okay, maybe Tiana, if I could connect with you about that.
Yes, I can forward the emails and put you guys in connection
Great.
to further discuss.
Okay.
But thank you so much for your time and for those maps. It gave a lot of clarity to the community. But we appreciate your time and your attendance.
Thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
day, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
If we can have Auntie Jan Makepa.
Aloha, Jan Makepa with Waianae Valley Homestead Community Association. Want to mahalo the board and our community for allowing us to share space with all of you and to inform you folks of some of the things that our homestead will be doing. A quick introduction of my board. We have my Vice President Keola, who is there. We also have our Secretary Linda, our Treasurer Kihau, our Director Lokana, and another director, Auntie Georgie. So basically what it is back in December of 2022, we were given a right of entry for the property on Farrington Highway. And this property is the city and county property that they use to house their trash bins. So this is between the wastewater treatment plant and the Waianae Community Mental Health Center. So we were given the right of entry from the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. We needed to do our due diligence as to what we wanted to do for the property. So we have two anchor tenants, and we are hoping to have a community economic development project for that parcel. So our two anchor projects are the Waianae Sustainability Co-op, which is a nonprofit solar energy company. And what they'll be doing is they'll be installing solar panels on the roofs of the existing buildings on the property. We as residents, we know that we've fought and we've seen a lot of these solar farms come up. The difference with this one is that the electricity that it's going to generate will give a discount to 70 to 80 homesteaders up in Waianae Valley, giving them a small discount off of their HECO bill. So this is going to be a direct beneficiary to beneficiary, project for our homesteaders. The other anchor tenant is the West Oahu Funeral Services. It is a Kanaka and Wahine owned company proposing to construct a crematory on the existing building at the rear of the property. Services will allow for families to have an end-of-life option within our own community. And the apparatus that is going to be used is state-of-the-art. It's smoke-free, odor-free, and adheres to the Department of Health's Clean Air Branch regulations. Auntie Lori Buchanan is the one that's going to be proposing the crematory. She tried to be here tonight, but of course, coming from Molokai, Mokulele Airlines, they tend to, not follow through with their flights, so she couldn't make it. For those on the board or in the community that wanted to speak directly to someone from the co-op or West Oahu Funeral Services, I can take your name and number and I can have them contact you folks directly. If you folks have questions that I might be able to answer or my board might be able to answer, we'll take any questions. We also want to use the parcel as we want to offer business opportunities for small industrial business entrepreneurs looking for space to work their trades. So we are going to be working in phases in this. We're still in the infancy stages, but we are working with the department hopefully to get our right of entry converted to a general lease soon. So if you folks have any questions.
Mahalo. Board members, any questions? I see board member Ganaban, and then we can go to board member Perry.
For the funeral services, all right, I know they're just offering the crematory. They're not going to be offering any type of place for services itself on the side or as well?
No, it'll be just crematory services.
Just crematory services? Okay, thank you.
Board member Perry.
Thank you. Why not the whole thing? How many acres are we talking about?
2.67 acres. So small parcel, not anything big.
So why not all solar farm? Because of sea level rise, why not just all solar farm? That way there's more beneficial to the homesteaders in Waianae Valley.
So the solar company, the Sustainable Co-op, is a pilot project that our homestead is doing. And basically what it is as a pilot project, it is going to be a catalyst for other things that hopefully open up for the community itself. So right now, the 70 to 80 families from our homestead will benefit from what's on the parcel now. But the co-op is hoping to expand, maybe find other parcels around or in our community, not necessarily DHHL, that can offer the same types of benefits that this solar company on this parcel will offer our homesteaders. So at this point, there's other uses because it's an industrial use parcel. So we want to, as our homestead association, we want to try and use it for as much possible options.
But is that the best use of the land? That's my question. And I guess you guys working with somebody about co-op because co-op is very complex and ongoing. So I'm just saying, is that the best use of that property? Thank you. That can give revenue for decades and decades. That's
We
the way
think
to
so.
think about it.
Yeah, we think that the options that we are looking at is best will benefit not only just our homestead, but the crematory will also benefit the community itself. Regarding the solar part, that is a question probably for the Waianae Sustainability Co-op, who
One more question.
is consulted by Shake Energy. And Shake Energy is also doing the same type of project on Molokai. So, but their project is a lot bigger than what we're offering here to our homestead.
But Auntie, all I'm saying is a small market. It's just a small market, and I thank all of you that been working on this for years and years. But it just seems like a small market. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie, for your question.
So
Mr. Gannabon.
the house that's on there, you guys are gonna have a tenant in that to occupy that house?
So we need to confirm with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands if they will allow a resident manager. Otherwise, it would probably be used for something else like maintenance or
Office.
security. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that is the best that you guys are doing with it because it is a small industrial area.
Yes.
And those open buildings would be perfect for some kind of mechanic shop or a trucking agency to move into that area.
Yeah. Or maybe
then-
furniture.
Or the furniture, yeah. And the crematory would be perfect in the back because it's hidden by the smell of the sewage anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
So gonna go to Board Member Crab and then Board Member Endo.
Hey, Auntie, sorry. Clarifying question. For the solar, when you folks say it'll benefit the beneficiaries, is like the solar energy collected and distributed to the houses? Or,
It is collected, and I believe from there, the discount is then given to the families that are recognized or the families that have applied for that service. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not with the co-op, but I'm not exactly sure how that's going to take place. But they will go ahead and take the energy from the solar panels, and the benefits will go directly to the beneficiaries in the form of a discount from
Yeah.
the HECO bill.
thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, we have our meeting on the third week of the month, on Thursday, and it's our business, economic development and natural land. That'll be great. And then I know basically what you're doing for the solar panels because the big contractors invested into that to Kunia area where people can buy into it. But then that way, if people have more questions, they can work with us.
Okay, yeah.
Mahalo, that's the third Thursday. Go ahead, Mr. Endo.
So if I heard you right, the solar panels gonna be on the existing buildings or some of the new buildings as well?
So the solar panels are going to be on the front building and the back building because the middle building is not structurally sound to hold the solar panels. And then the co-op will also be building 2 carports on either side of the dwelling to house the remaining solar panels that they'll need.
Mahalo. If anybody has any questions after this, I did put my email and number, and I can forward you guys to the necessary agencies. I'm not seeing any more questions. Thank you guys so much for attending, all of the board members. I appreciate you guys coming and presenting. And just so it's clear, on the agenda, it has the address 86-220 Farrington Highway. If you guys wanted to look up specifically the particular land that they're referring to. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
You have a question? Or-
Question. The reason why this is concerning to me, it sounds all great. Really sounds beautiful. Rainbows and colorful things. But again, if you're listening to them, this co-op, you as a homesteader have to apply. You know how I know this word? Nanakuli Ranch. They were trying to build a solar farm, which we stopped. That was the same thing. They have to apply. And the possible of the people that's in need can actually get the help. I could see all the houses in the valley on a homestead go and get them, 100%. They don't need to apply. But this is not the case. Okay, so I know the Molokai family coming over here trying to do this whole thing, whatever cremation thing, for the benefit of our Hawaiian people. But again, board member or person on top of the Olelo just said, is this the best use practice to really generate money for the homestead community of Waianae? Is it? Did we really evaluate the options of having a better use for this? Or we just stuck on the cremation and the solar and what they're stuck on now? But this is a long time being stuck on this. And again, a lot of communities not in favor of having a cremation person or cremation in their community. So that's the kind of stuff you guys got to look at. Yeah, it sounds great and everything on the surface. When you say dissect them, is that better for the homestead to have this there generating money, or rental unit that can generate money for them? See what I mean? So you can make a rental, the parcel is too small. Too small. So I don't know how they're going to generate the income that they're saying that's going to benefit straight to the beneficiaries, because really it's not. You have to apply to this electric company to the benefit package that they're talking about, application. Because it was called shared solar. So the Nanakuli Valley guys is going to have this Nanakuli solar farm in the ranch, yeah? And then somebody in Kaka'ako could buy into it to get one benefit from what is being done in our community. I say the same for the homesteaders, but yes, and it also says branch out to other community. Please look into it, guys. I'm not against the project, but really look if that's the best practice for that property. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Chair, that's why I think the meeting with our,
On the committee, yes.
on the committee would be beneficial for us before we make a decision. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, Favela, for your comment. I just wanted to just reply to some of the things that he said. Yes, we can only 70 or 80 families need to apply. There is a vetted process. I'm not going to go into that because I am not the co-op. And so that would be something that the Waianae Sustainability Co-op would answer. And what is their process in this vetting? Yes, families will be given choice, not a choice, but families will be given priority. Again, I'm not sure what that vetting process is. And so when he's talking about the difference in what is best for the community, this is something that our homestead decided that we wanted to do for our community. Yeah, we're open to talk story, but we're not trying to make this as a huge economic thing that something like Nanakuli Village is. I mean, we don't even see something like that. What we're trying to do is, as a small economic development parcel We want to make sure that whatever we can get from this parcel, whatever monies that can be made, can benefit not only our beneficiaries, but also our community. So it's not like we're trying to become this millionaire company. We're just trying to help out people in our community.
Mahalo. We are gonna move right along. I did put my email and number in the chat if anybody has any further questions or would like to connect with them. But also, if you guys can attend their next meeting, the third Thursday. Okay, so community concerns, and we are 8:41. If you guys can line up kindly at the microphone, and we will be timing. Can somebody keep time? 2 minutes, and guys, if we can just be very respectful of the time so we can continue on to our elected officials. Go ahead, state your name for the record.
Mahalo, Chair. O Inez Koinoa no Makaha Maiau. I have two concerns to bring within the 2 minutes. My first concern, neither are on the agenda. My first concern is that I got word that DLNR will be sanctioning a cat feeding at Poka'ibe. And I just wanted to notify you about that and see if any of you had any information, and you don't have to answer me now, but maybe just to be made aware and to let the community know. I think the community should be notified, and those that are taking care of the heiau, that the cats we have native species, just in case anyone is unaware of that. I am a Hawaiian Studies major that has volunteered on the Hawaiian Affairs Subcommittee of our neighborhood board and worked with board member Kaukahu Vahilani on preservation of the heiau, and the cats there, the feral cats, were part of the conversation that we had with our politicians. So it's a little bit troublesome that they're going to set up a feeding site there. And once the DLNR sanctions it, no community groups or law enforcement agencies will be able to intervene. So that's kind of troublesome. And again, it's what I have heard in the community from somebody that's working with the city. My second concern is I went on my first access into Makua Valley. And I was on Saturday, and I was educated that there is military leasing, a lease agreement that's taking place with DLNR. Both of these situations happen under DLNR Chair Dawn Chang. And so she's doing this land appraisal situation that has to do directly with Makua Valley. And I just wanted to notify the board that if you're not aware of that situation, that you might want to get educated on the land leasing situation with Makua Valley. I know you're very busy, as am I, going into grad school, and let the community know that there is a situation with DLNR where they're trying to do an appraisal of land in order to switch with Makua Valley, and the community should be involved. I will be getting involved with Makua Valley in the future, and Malama Makua, and so you can find me there. So thank you very much. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Okay, next member, 2 minutes, state your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Austin Salcedo. I'd just like to bring attention to as I brought to last week, Thursday's meeting at the Mayor's Town Hall meeting of Senate Resolution 53, creating a task force consisting of the Department of Health and the city and county itself. This task force will identify all the group living facilities, transitional housings that's on the west side over here. So I elected before Jeff Jones had heard it before, then Mayor Blangiardi. We stated about consisting of Krishna Jaram is one, two will be Sam Moku, third will be Donna Puna, and two officials of the neighborhood board. Sorry, and I've asked you guys permission. I just want to sign under the mayor. I think this board is under the mayor itself. I asked the mayor, Rick Blangiardi, to assign Philip Gunnavan and Richard Laffer to be part of this task force team. With that said, today, we just had an interview with Channel 9 News regarding the petition on Noholio Road, the petition of February 7th, and the support of Andrew Topola, supporting the community as well. to identify all this type of entities. And we brought to the attention to mayor because he stated that we have to take our own actions. So I told him, we're going to be responsible. Yes, sir. We're going to be proactive rather than reactive, because the measurement that we had talked about was 762 911 calls of HPD in the proximity of Kernest Property, 7-Eleven, and Lahi Lahi Park. 762 in the year 2023. Okay, so with that said, where is this bad hotspot entity is creating by? We have no idea. This task force is going to be created to identify these issues,
Wrapping it
especially
up.
1170 Farrington Highway, consisting of this detox. You folks been aware, Tiana. There was an email sent to you March 26th this year about a detox happening at the 1170. And I just found out that Clubhouse is not identified on affiliated with them. But who is creating this entity that's happening? None of these operations on that property has a conditional use permit, including the clubhouse. None of these operations. There's no measurements. So this task force is assigned to go look at these measurements, investigate. Okay, whether the group facilities in the residential areas rise. That's why I kind of upset, because there's no transparency in our homeless committee as well.
Mahalo.
Hold on,
I'm gonna
please.
more than 2
There's no,
minutes.
yeah, there's no transparency from our chair in the homeless committee. This thing hasn't been talked about, but I did hear that he's bringing awareness to RISE coming back again for explaining, when we had already, this community had petitioned against that, even with the shelter. So where's the transparency? Where's the transparency about this clubhouse thing? It doesn't have a conditional use permit, but it comes before the neighborhood board is bringing out the neighborhood board, giving recognition to this. So how is that?
We will definitely, if Jeff can.
You know, I'll table this.
records of that as well.
I'll be taking consideration on that. With city entity, without no conditional use permit, come on, something's wrong with this picture here.
Just to confirm, Uncle Austin, that's at 841170, you said? That address?
84-1170, 84-1160, but this detox is on the 84-1170. There's no conditional use permits. There's no certificate of need operations under the city. So how are we giving recognition for something that doesn't have, became before the neighborhood board? How is that so? Look into this matter. We have a lack of communication, no transparency.
Mahalo.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sherry again, Sherry Natur. I'm going to piggyback from Austin Salcedo in regards to the transitional housing. I realized that as I did a little bit of my search regarding for the transitional housing, if you look under the Google Back, it only listed about 4 to 5 businesses that conducted on this island. Through my eyes, and I believe everybody's eyes, we know and we're pretty much concerned why there's so much vast amount of transitional housing. A lot of these are taking place, but the building permits or the neighborhood board meeting, I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's not good to hide behind doors in front of our community because of safety for our kids, for our kupunas, and for our family. But I need for this to be investigated because I represent from our church. And we see a lot of things that going within our property, within our cafeteria, they come into our cafeteria just, while the school is in session. So this is pretty much of a safety concern. Need to look into building permit to see if those are valid to have a transitional home that's nearby the school, because the location is less than a mile. I can tell you this. If you see the restriction guidelines, they're pretty much, you violated the rights of what we need to protect for our family, for our kupuna and our community. Thank you.
Mahalo. Really quickly, I just want to clarify, transitional housing, is that at the same location, the 84-1170, or are you talking about?
I'm just piggybacking from his conversation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tony Ingersoll, and I'm a resident of Hawaii since 2007. I live in Makaha, lived there since 2013. I love Waianae, I love Makaha. It's a wonderful place to live. People are awesome here, and I love this community. I worked for U.S. Department of Agriculture for 34 years and then retired here. I was very fortunate to be able to retire here. But I have a new job now, and I'm the head elder of the Waianae Seventh-day Adventist Church now, right next to Henara's. And as head elder, I sort of do a lot of policing there, if you will. Not of our members so much, but of trespassers. We have a lot of trespassing going on our property, and it can be very challenging. We do have some concerns about some of the transitional housings that are very close to our church. I'm not being judgmental on them. We definitely need them. I'm actually in a Bible study right now with a young man who's in a transitional house up there on Farrington in Makaha. In fact, he was just baptized on Saturday down there at Pokai Bay. If you were there, you got to see it. So I really support and believe in them. We really need them. But my understanding is there's supposed to be a distance between them and a school. We've had our Adventist Malama Elementary School at that location for well over 20 years. And now we have a house within 1,056 feet of that school. You go right down the road, you come right in our back gate. We have people coming in our back gate, walking through and going out the front. We have people coming in using our bathrooms during school. Sometimes they climb the fence and they use the bathrooms. These are little kids' bathrooms. And they come in, as she said, as Sherry said, they come in our eating area and they'll just come walking through there. I don't know if they're coming from the transitional housing. I don't know if they're just homeless people. I'm not sure. But then, I get called in. I have to kind of police them off, ask them to leave. We've had to call the police. We've been broken into twice. Second time, we caught them with Ring cameras.
Just wrapping it up.
And they, I don't know what happened to them with the police. But anyway, we just are concerned about our keiki, our school kids. We have about 50 some kids. And with so many people coming through our property, it's very concerning. May or may not be from the transitional house, but I don't know why, if there's guidelines that have to be 7,950 feet from the school, why is it within a little over 1,000 feet? Thank you so much.
Can you clarify the address of that potential
Yeah,
property?
it's on Alipo Street, right behind the post office.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know the exact address, but right behind the
Okay,
post.
that will definitely help us as far as the investigating or passing it off to mayor's rep.
Awesome.
So that we can see if there's the conditional use permits and things.
Awesome. Thank you
So
so much.
having the address would be great. I can definitely connect with you to get my email so we can stay in further discussion.
Very good. Thank you so
But
much.
thank you for your
Appreciate
concern.
your time.
Aloha.
Aloha. James Kiamanoku, senior concerned parent, grandparent, great grandparent. I don't know if you guys went to the mayor's meeting, but I was really disappointed, when our representative from the city came in was bragging about the $500 rentals that we have in Kapolei. Because at one time, Waianae had 500 and below. Yeah, you guys remember that? When we were rural country and agriculture. And one of the things we gotta, elected officials have to, we have to stop them is that we're creating homelessness by upzoning our communities. Yeah. If we want to stop homelessness, we have to stop upzoning our communities. I mean, Johnny Alameda will tell you, if we upzone our communities, we're committing homelessness. Gang, we have rich people and poor people. The more we upzone, we're making everything more expensive. Waianae was a thriving agriculture community, thriving. I mean, I can remember when I came down here. That's why I came to Waianae. Yeah, and then the our elected officials went crazy. But anyway, and something else happened at the mayor's meeting. You guys drive our road every day, huh? Look along our highways. what we get over here on the highways? You guys see them? We get all these big houses. And we need houses, right? And we need big houses, right? But this not the houses we need.
Mahalo,
Because-
2 minutes, wrapping.
Yeah. Well, Madam Chair, we don't need these houses. They're called monster houses. And what we need is across the street. Because these monster houses going to have people, they're going to come across the street and going to swim. And guess what's going to happen? We fish across the street. And guess what's going to happen, gang? They're going to cut off our fishing. Because when they come across the street, and we fishing across there, when the fish bite, guess what's going to happen? They're going to tell us, hey, you guys no can fish here no more because one of these guys get caught by the fishing line. So
Mahalo.
we got to get these guys to get rid of these houses because we're losing our lifestyle. You guys responsible. All these, all of these things you guys are approving having an effect on our lifestyle, gang. So please help us.
Mahalo.
Marvel.
Michael William Capolino Eli.
Aloha.
I never come last month, but I come in this month because I almost never come. But you know what? There's nothing to get it done up there. You know what I mean? I keep on grumbling about they're still drilling. You know what? They're still drilling for the telephone poles up there because had a whole pile last month. I don't see them on the road anymore. They put them back in the ranch and they start still drilling. So they're drilling telephone poles. The guy's still there. I don't know who gotta be held accountable for it. It's Eric Enos, because he get the half of the lease. I mean, already they're in desecrate Manini's mother and father's grave. So how come nobody doing their job? The dealer now, how come they're not doing their job? Because Baichis, they're out of the place because they're in fence-off Baichis area. Manini Bloodlines is up there already, you know what I mean? They're there a long time. They guys belong in the valley, but they guys can desecrate that, but they're not doing nothing right now. Then they stay over there having the excursion with their horses. So one dealer now told me that, oh, we're not responsible for this between you and the hunters of these guys riding their horses inside the watershed, you know what I mean? Inside Waianae Kai. So now, like I said, if I stay hunting and my dogs wrap their horse and they shoot my dog, so who's responsible? The dealer now or me? Not me. I think he's hunting all season in Waianae Valley. So these guys is over there having the excursion, stay on their side, no come in the forest side. Get the barbed wire fence for a reason. No go ride you guys' horses to the loi that I take care, Punana Ula. Because that's what they're doing. They're riding their horses. I gotta stop my dogs. Good thing I get this garment. You see this garment? The thing shocked my dogs. I get them right there. I need that for
Wrapping it up.
or get the dogs attention. I beep them, they come running. Because they don't like the business. They don't like the shock. So when the thing beep, the thing come running back to me. But they don't belong in the mountain. That's not the dog's fault. Yeah, and wait. Get some more. Whoever responsible for that, they gotta take care of that ranch because they guys supposed to be out of there already. What's going on? Somebody gotta do their job. Who going to do them? The dealer now? They guys just sitting on their ass, cuz. Straight up. They're supposed to be protecting our watershed and the forest.
We will
They ain't.
definitely revisit that. I know
So I
the,
work 5 days a week. I get my Saturday and my Sundays in the mountain. You know what I mean? Just for stay pono. And I take care of my loi. Oh, brother, I wake up at 3 o'clock. I leave home at 4 o'clock. I come home at 6:30. So you got to do the numbers. I stay over here. I let go sleep. Aloha, everybody.
mahalo.
Remember, Mike Eli, okay? That's the guy. Bye.
everybody. This
Aloha.
is my new friend. Please give her a hand. She's trying to get her encouragement the first time come out and speak with you guys. She lives at the boat harbor. There's a lot of issues there that would, you know, would like to come out to light for the communities to hear. And she's just one of many, and perhaps I just met her in line, okay? So she's sharing with me and she's asking me to go forward and I'm gonna try to have her have time. Go ahead.
Hi, hello.
First time?
Kale, this is my first time here. Okay. I live over here at the harbor, but not on this side. I live this side closest to where the grave markers are. And this morning, today was the first time that DNR and was mostly police officers came. And by law, it says that they gotta hand us on paper to tell us they're gonna sweep. Well, I woke up, the notice was on the tree, and my cousin had them taped to the tent. But like I said, this is our first time we have to face on sweep, because usually I go to Joe, the harbor master, and ask him where we can bring our trash, our bulky items and stuff. And he tells me he has no part, he has nothing to do with this side of the harbor. So I'm like, okay. And he says, oh, you gotta call bulky items on you guys own, you gotta, like, okay. So when I go back to him and ask him for help and, because planning, people move in and when they go, they just leave all their rubbish and it makes us look like, hey, oh, this guy's place, all messy and stuff, but that's not our mess, but we're trying to. And then a couple of days ago, he told me, you cannot use the dumpsters for our trash. I'm like, so again, I'm like, so where we gotta throw 'em? The thing. And then he tells me, no, yeah, then he tells me, oh, you gotta go use the dumpsters up by the tennis court. And I was like, wait, it's not the same area as the dumpster right here.
Mahalo.
So I like since it's our first time, and then when I asked him and he told me that he has nothing to do with our side of the harbor, I mean, only get one pinch of us because it's like we have no affiliation with this side, we have our own. And a lot of times we the ones cleaning up the parking lot when get other, the families come over to get rubbish and whatnot. We the ones over there with the dustpan, I in the morning cleaning up the graves and whatnot. A lot of families come up to us and say, oh, thank you for keeping. I was like, nah, no problem. I get after the other guys that stay up in our area,
Mahalo.
But I just asking because they said, oh, this is how the guy said, oh, we're coming back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We'll get you guys there. Okay.
Mahalo.
Why?
Right. We can definitely connect offline to see what is the process and what notice you're referring to.
Thank you.
Is there any?
I get one afterwards.
Okay, go ahead. If there's any more of you guys can line up.
Okay, I just wanted to bring up something, sorry. Citizens for the cat feeding at the Hale, I'm sure Royal Water knows. I did forward it. And also the people that's taking care of Pokai Bay, I did forward that also. So I'm just letting you know what's up there.
Mahalo.
Thank you. I'm always welcome and people always invite me to come to you guys' board and I love to come. But this situation with Manini Evie been coming over here for a while. So is anybody on the board ever went up and drive and seen the desecration? I did. So I've been working with the LNR director, who does nothing, who's worth nothing, told the governor to fire her. Because the desecration of our families is happening in that valley, putting families in danger. She told me point blank to my face, they never have permission to have horses on that property. So my question is, why are the sources there? The telephone poles he's talking about, they told us they wasn't gonna put it in because they never even have a survey of where's the EVs. Now he telling me that all the poles went in that I seen there, that they said they wasn't gonna put them in because our director from DLNR said they was gonna advocate. Our board here, you guys have a lot more power than you think. You guys got to band together with Nanakuli, Kapolei, and Eva Beach and put these guys in their place. The LNR and the agriculture, because they're doing nothing for this community. Don needs to go. What's happening at desecration, you guys need to look. Anybody get time, go look. Eno's more power over there. The other guys went out, pulled him out of the board. He's done. But the guys who come in and said that they wasn't gonna do this, so now I'm very upset that they lied to me too in my office. So now I'm gonna take this personally tomorrow and find out why is these horses going into the hunting grounds into the valley. So I ask one of you board members to please go check and try to get these brothers some answers from the DLNR former chair, Don Chang.
Mahalo.
Thank you, board.
I do want to state, I did go up with Mr. Eli to look at the desecration, and at the time, we had a DLNR officer that filed a formal complaint, but is now no longer with the department because of I'm not even going to go into details because that is their own personal kuleana and it's not mine to share, but he's no longer with the department. So therefore, it is obviously in a standstill and nothing is being done. And trust me, my heart goes out to our community and we are trying to keep the communication open with DLNR so that we can address the issues of our community. Go ahead.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Myself said, you said that is the personal kuleana? You say that is their personal kuleana, whatever going between them?
No, whatever happened on why he's no longer with the department is his personal kuleana, and it's not for me to share.
Okay, it's not for you to share, but you folks are the N, also work with the mayor's the NCO. Okay, you folks are the Waianae Neighborhood Board, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you folks also, not only the residents here, is to be the voice. You folks always also should be the voice to our lawmakers, our reps, okay? Not only the committee comes out and say our point, you folks are here for the committee to hear the community's concern, okay? If we cannot go, all of my kupunas and everybody cannot just keep going up the Capitol and go fighting. You folks gotta learn to communicate with them too, because I'm at the Capitol, I'm at the City Hall. My kupunas, we're not a leader, we're a voice for those kupunas, those children that do not have a voice. Because why? They lost hope here. It's up to you folks to turn around, build up your community, not your community, build you guys up. You guys build your community up. They're here without the community. We don't need you folks. We put you here for a reason. We put our lawmakers there for a reason. We put our council, city councils for a reason. You ain't got the answers for your committee, go and search for it. For once, work together. Instead of turn around and look at, it's not our kuleana, we try to talk, we don't know what happened to this department. Let me tell you, when it comes to a life.
Wrapping it up.
Safety hazard in our community. We have a voice. We have a right. That is our right for safety. We have a right to go down a beach. We have a right to go to a store. Safety should not be compromised. We're honest, hard workers, legit homeowners, kupunas that works hard, retired. Where is our right to have a safety community? Instead, we have to worry. Is somebody behind us going to hurt us? Where is our right? Instead of always the encampments, the homeless, the drug addiction. Where is our rights? But we cannot even go, my kupunas can't even go to the store safely. You got the state with their homeless encampment, mental health. You got the city. They all got their hands in a money bucket, girlfriend. Okay? But who it affects? I like to see their tax returns, what they pay. You know, so you got to remember, you folks should be listening to your committee. And when the committee being a concern, all I'm asking, do not shut it down. Because when I go to one committee, that you folks are official with the chairs, the homeless, houseless. Remember, you folks are there to listen. When I go to the homeless one, I get shut down. If you cannot collaborate or communicate with me, then get the hell off your committee.
Okay, mahalo.
Fast-
Really quickly, yes, we're at 9:12.
Yeah, maybe like 3 weeks ago, Macau's rubbish never get picked up for like 3 days. But you know what? I called Cedric Gates and I called him on Friday, Saturday, the thing got picked up. So he was pretty good because the next day it got picked up because when I went in the mountain and I came back home, I could push my rubbish can back in my yard because it had all maggots for 3 days. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they say they were short drivers, but they got what, 4.3 or what, 4.9 raise? Well, you know what? They gotta go look for fucking drivers. Sorry, but for swearing.
Mahalo.
All right, finally, I get my 2 minutes. I didn't get a chance to do this at the mayor town hall meeting. If you guys don't know, my name is Shelby. KQ Kalani got banned on Facebook after the mayor town hall meeting. And what I said is probably what I didn't say because I didn't get to speak. But I did type something. So I'll type what I said. And he had all these like 75 department heads, DPP, Sean Moku. And pretty much what I typed is, you can't help poor people if you've never been poor. You can't help the homeless and houseless if you've never been like that before. So my social experiment for them, and I typed it to Rick, Joe Biden, Robert F. Kennedy, Donald Trump, HPD, HFD, and everybody, to let them know the solution is you stick all these department heads into, like, say, Makaha, Waianae, wherever, Waimanalo, all homeless and houseless. You take away all their clothes, all their money, everything. Oh, they'll still get their automatic paycheck, no problem. But you stick them X amount of months so they can know exactly what's wrong, what happens, where you might get raped, something might happen to you. But the real solution is you can buy a container home for $3,000. If you ever been homeless or houseless before, you don't get a tent because that's illegal and they're gonna go after you. So you get the 10 by 10 first, because if you don't need a permit, it's a 10 by 10. I did this on Lahaina. If you have money, you go for the 20 by 20 with the tarp. See, you don't need any permits for this. This is easy solutions. You want power, you get a Go Zero. They get it at City Mill right there. You can charge it with the solar panel. I did in Lahaina. I did in the Big Island. You can live off the grid. See, they're not pragmatic in their solutions. And I told Mike, the mayor's chief of staff, because he just smiled looking at my Pikachu glasses. I said, next time you come, bro, you got to bring food. He goes, oh, that's a great idea. You have to bring potluck. So he's going to bring chili and rice. I said, you bring next guy, you bring chicken katsu. That one bring meat, John, because you have to talk about this with food first, break bread. And the mayor agreed. The chief of staff agreed. So before we jump into politics, ROI and all this other blah, 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 we got to break bread, trust we can follow Jesus' example, because I know we just do community service. Nobody really answers. We just spit it. But you can follow me on Facebook, on my new one, Keikyo Kalani, means child of heaven, and Instagram's the same, legendary billionaire. Pikachu loves you. Pika, Pika.
Mahalo. Okay. State your name.
Hola, Chair. John Naputi Travis once again. Just real quick, something different. May 16th, next week, Thursday, Lehoku Elementary School and the community within is holding a meeting with some government officials as well as the people from Hawaii wildfire on regards to mitigation within the Lehoku Mountain area. I was trying to get a hold of Miss G regarding the flyers that she has, but most of you folks know me from the community and whatnot. As soon as the flyers come out, I'll send them out to each and every one of you. Just wanted to know next week, Thursday, 6:30. Thank you.
Mahalo. Okay, so
bring item 4 back up.
I don't think we have time for that, but anybody can motion anything. I don't have control over that. Okay, so we are going to actually move some agenda items and we're gonna do elected officials or people that is physically here in person, and then we'll move to online.
Chair,
Yes, Board Member Perry.
I still want to address my concern for residents' concern. My hand been up and I wasn't called. I waited and waited. Now my hand's sore. Can I
Okay,
speak?
normally we hear from community for community concerns, that's why, but go ahead. We'll start the timer, go ahead.
So first of all, I wasn't at the mayor's meeting, but if I was there, I would have mentioned to him to support all his female department heads, Lori, Dawn, for example. And if he's a word of, if he's a man of his word, no landfill in Waianae, that'd be a good legacy of his. I want to thank Senator Shimabukuro for all her years of service. Now, she put in her resignation. Her last day is May 31st. Now, 3 names goes to the governor to continue and finish her term until the election. I think it's about time we have somebody that's in our community that looks like one of us. And hopefully he choose a person that looks like the majority of this community. Also, I mentioned a concern, it had to do with kupunas. I sent an email to the city and to senator. These elderly ladies were cut out of the bathroom on Smith Street. My email was for the city or the state, go talk to these 2 kupunas, see if they want to relocate to a safer, affordable senior rental. One is on River Street and the other one is on Alakia. That was the whole gist of my email, to get them out from that unit to a better, safer place. I'm not sure if they can afford it, but I'm sure they can qualify. What I've learned in finding a place to rent, it seems that the rentals beginning at Section 8 level. And they're banking on
Yeah,
Section
that's
8
2 minutes.
money. So the starting rate is at Section 8. And if you don't qualify for Section 8, then it's impossible to pay those kind of prices. The problem is the income. You guys talk about housing. They can build all the housing, but if your income doesn't improve, you're still at the same place. That's realistic. You're at the same place. Thank you.
Mahalo. Okay, so we're gonna go to Councilwoman Tupola, and then we'll have US Army Garrison and US Navy after.
Aloha board, aloha community members. So I'll just cover a few points and then you guys can ask questions. So the 2450, I did introduce a resolution creating ocean safety or putting on the ballot to make a new department of ocean safety and a oversight commission, which is what we have for HPD and we have it for HFD. So that was on almost the final vote last month. And then 4 days prior to the final vote, the mayor introduced a resolution for him to create the department. So the difference here is that my resolution was going to be on the ballot, right? So the people would vote on it. And the mayor's resolution, because he's the mayor, he has executive power to create the department immediately. So he had, their administration had told me that, but I had not seen any type of legal document or resolution saying that they were going to do it. So when they did come out and say they were going to do it, we had to kind of take a step back and then try to work together to amend both of ours to work together. So I will say that as of today, that we are all on the same page. So next Wednesday, we'll take a final vote on 24103, which will allow the mayor to create the department. And we are going to amend 2450 to take out the part of the department, since the mayor will be making it already, to put on that the commission should be an advisory and that the commission should appoint a chief and not the mayor. The people are very concerned that any public safety department should not have a department head that's appointed by the mayor because of a conflict of interest. We need all of our public safety chiefs to be impartial and not politically controlled. And the mayor agrees, the administration agrees. So I did amend 2450. I listed the floor draft today. So both of these will work well together. So definitely as we approach the election in November, I'll continue to advocate for people to support the commission on the ballot, to vote yes on it. And I'm positive that it'll do well. Once that's done, then they will start the commission. Whoever's in charge of ocean safety, there'll be a transition period for the commission to choose a chief, and then that will be the chief over the new department. So that's one. The second thing that I did introduce was a salary commission resolution. Last year, there was a lot of anger about the 64% increase for city council members, right? We're not happy about that, right? So there was only a few of us that opposed it. And so we were talking about, whether or not the charter has to be changed to give more parameters, meaning like maybe there should be a cap. Maybe you should only increase salaries by 3.5% or 10% in case there's like another year of runaway 64% that comes up. So we are currently discussing 7 proposals, and I have 1 proposal on the table. So I will be letting the community know when our next meeting is. We hear that particular measure in Executive Management Committee, which is not frequently convened. So I will share that with the community. Lastly, I will have a crime prevention town hall on May 28th at Honouliuli Middle. That's in Eva, kind of in the Hopili area. It's important for our community that we have these meetings regularly, because this is going to give our updates on game rooms. We're going to talk about ag crimes and things that we can do. So we do have the Attorney General coming, the prosecutor coming, HPD coming, and Homeland Security coming. People had questions about missing children. I mean, every level of crime that we face in our community, we're going to try to have the right agencies there to answer those questions. I do feel like that is the #1 concern for us right now. And we need to have a town hall just about that and not about 25 things and that, because that's how important it is to us. So that's it for now. So I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Mahalo. We're actually going to continue. And if we have any questions, if we have time, we can go back to them, or if we can connect with them offline. So we can get as much reports as possible. U.S. Army Garrison, Lieutenant Colonel Yoon.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
And board members, community members. I have one thing. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Yoon. I represent the United States Army Hawaii. With that, one for interest, we have the Oahu draft environmental impacts statement or pre-notification. That's of interest to the Waianae board. So I'll read it just so that I don't miss what the message is here. In accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act and the Hawaii Environmental Policy Act, the Army is preparing a draft environmental impact statement, or EIS, for Army training land retention of state lands at Kahuka Training Area, at Po'omohu Training Area, and Makua Military Reservation. The Army proposes to retain up to 6,322 acres of state land at these areas on Oahu to support continued military training. The proposed action is an administrative action that does not include construction, modernization, or changes in ongoing training. The draft EIS assesses the environmental impacts of the proposed action alternatives and the no action alternative. The draft EIS is scheduled to be published in the coming months for a 60-day public review period. The public may submit comments during the public review period in writing or in person at the public meetings that will be held in 3 locations on Oahu. More details of that will follow as we get closer to the draft EIS publication date. That date has not been published yet. Any questions or email, it could be directly to me, or if not, then if you can please send it to Ms. Wilbur, the chair, and then she'll forward it to me, or email at usarmy.hawaii.comrel, that's COMREL @army.mil, or call 808-787-2140. Thank you.
Mahalo. And I do want to say thank you for the leeward engagement with the garrisons. I appreciated that time and the invitation to Uncle William Ayla. Go ahead, U.S. Navy.
Aloha, Victor Flint, Naval Facilities. The defuel
East Powell. Now it's going to the Navy Closure Task Force. And on May 15th at the Veteran Center in Foster Village, there's going to be an open house. So if you'd like to attend, you can see all the things dealing with the remediation process and the long-term drinking water testing. All that stuff will be there for you to see, and subject matter experts and engineers will be there. You can ask them questions and stuff. Also, Navy and NAFAC Hawaii is hiring, and there's a variety of positions from admin to the trades to emergency response. Information can be found on LinkedIn or Facebook, or come see me in the back. The board also has that information and website. You can also get a hold of the board as well. Koli Pass, it's clear and passable for leeward emergency access and egress in a declared emergency. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Mahalo. We do have Governor's Rep. We will try and come back online, but Governor's Rep, Stacy Lynn Eli, and then we also have in-person Representative Darius Kila.
Aloha, I can have Representative Keela come up and then I'll do my report after.
Mahalo for
Thank
that.
you.
Mahalo, Rep, for being here.
Yes, sorry for coming afterwards. Thank you, Stacy. So I just have two dates asking you folks to hold. I will extend the invitation to the Waianae community. You folks are welcome to join me. On June 4th at 6 p.m., we'll be at the Nanakuli High and Intermediate School cafeteria with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs doing a meet and greet town hall with you folks. That'll be a great chance for you to meet their new administration team at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and their resources and services will be available. So that'll be at 6 p.m. Nanakuli High and Intermediate School on June 4th. And then on June 26th, at the request of community members from the Nanakuli board, we'll have a follow-up conversation about agriculture with the Department of Agriculture and relevant department heads on June 26th, and that'll be at the high school as well. So the two dates is the 26th and the 4th for the two town halls in June. It was too hard to schedule one for May, so I'm going to double up in June. And that's all I have for tonight.
Mahalo, Rep, and thank you for your service, this legislation. Go ahead, Stacey.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board, community members. Caitlin Eli for Governor Green. So I needed to respond to a question that you folks asked last month. So the question was, in light of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse, what is being done to safeguard our state's infrastructure? What funding sources are being allocated to ensure our bridges are protected? And what action is the DOT taking? So I did get a response from Deputy Dre Kalili. The Hawaii Department of Transportation has safety measures in place to protect the state's harbor infrastructure, including traffic control protocols relating to prioritization of vessel types and requiring the use of certified pilots who know the ports and can navigate large ships into and through the ports. In addition, we are working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to make sure that the federal waterways inside the commercial ports can be safely navigated. I did pass out Governor's newsletter to you folks, and there's some at the front table. I was able to get information from President Jan Makepa, so I'll follow up with that, with her question about what DHHL is doing with as HFD or DOT. And also, I know Member Ganaban had some questions about the enforcement that's taking place at the boat harbor. So I'll also follow up with a report on that. So I'll try to email something before the next board meeting. Mahalo.
Okay, and then we are gonna go back to Mayor's Rep Don Apuna.
Aloha. So I have a couple of follow-up questions. The first was on Kea'au development. HPD acknowledges that, or to their knowledge, there's no new development taking place in that area. There's been recent cleanups and barriers replaced to help deter illegal activity and vehicles from entering the area. First responders are aware of the barriers and can plan and respond accordingly to service the public when needed. Department of Parks and Rec also reports that with the assistance of Department of Transportation, DPR began placing Jersey barriers along the unimproved area of Kea'au to prevent illegal driving. Work has since ceased for further evaluation. Signs are posted to remind the public that driving in these areas is illegal. And then with regard to recent shooting concerns that Member Crab had shared, HPD reports that District 8 Community Policing Team is not aware of any recent ongoing issues at the address of 86927 Pokai, Kuahivi Place. If there are concerns of illegal activity, the public is advised to call the police, work with our district's CPT officers, as well as report the activity to the Narcotics Division at 723-3933 or use their online reporting form. That's all I have, but thank you.
Mahalo. Don, definitely, I would like to connect with you offline regarding some of the properties that were in question tonight, in community concerns. So we'll definitely be in touch, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I don't see Chris Sugimoto online, but if we can get to Senator Miley, oh, he is online. Kalamai, Chris, can I, may I go to Senator and Rep really quickly? And if we can just do 1 minute each, if you guys can give your report in that time. And if anybody wants Chris's report, I can pull that as well.
Okay, so is Senator, am I gonna go now or is Chris gonna?
Senator, if you're
planning board?
online, yes, please.
Okay, okay. Okay, just real quick, just happy to report on some exciting legislation that we were able to get passed this session. A bill to have the state parks manage Makua. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm having to. So Makua, it would manage Makua, Kealu'ula, Kaena Point, similar to how they've managed other state parks. Also, brown water testing at beaches got passed. Menstrual equity, 400,000 got passed. Protection of burial sites, and also we're the first state legislature to pass a ceasefire resolution. Some of the CIPs that got passed for construction, El Palo Social Services, Food Warehouse, Makaha Learning Center, Classroom, Pa'akea Road, 3.45 million to open the locked portion to make a second access. Intermediate school at Waianae, Play Court, Kamaili Academy classrooms, and parking lot and playground. One elementary school, parking lot expansion.
Yeah.
And some GIAs that got passed for Mall Organic Farm, West Side Striking, Nakamakai, Polynesian Voyaging Society, After School All Stars, Ritime International, Makana Okeakua, and Ulu'ae are among those that got awarded. So mahalo, I'll keep it short since I think it's in 1 minute. Thank you.
Mahalo, Senator, and we also just like to mahalo you for your years of service and for your just everything that you've been committed to in our community.
Oh, thank you, Tiana. I appreciate that.
We wish you the best in your endeavors. We know we'll still see you in
Mahalo.
our community. So mahalo.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Aloha, hui and then Rep Gates.
Hello, everyone. Aloha,
Aloha.
Chair. Aloha, board members. Aloha, community. I shared my screen just to show you quickly my newsletter that will be sent out to all District 45 homes in the coming weeks. We have some exciting news with Waianae High School and the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Raymond Torrey Field. This project has been dragging along due to city permitting, but we finally got that approved and now we are on the road. The project is set to begin shortly after graduation, and I'm meeting with the athletic director to discuss details for the ceremony. And the other thing I would like to mention is congratulations to our 2024 graduates. Graduating from the Waianae Coast.
Gets away with things.
And we can see that we've been working on empowering our community through collaboration and solidarity. I've been out in the community helping with beautification projects, the Prince Cohio event. We hosted
Wrapping
some
it up.
kids from, oh, I hear somebody talking.
Just wrapping it up.
Yep, I'm wrapping it up. And yes, we have the biggest thing I want to mention to all of you folks, which has been the number one concern as the agriculture chair for this House of Representatives. This has been the biggest year for agriculture in the past decade. According to all the experts and according to the numbers, we were able to secure a lot of funding to go to coconut rhinoceros beetles, other invasive species, but most importantly, getting the personnel needed to implement all of these programs and expend the funding into the community. The last thing I'll say is that a part of this agricultural package that you see on my screen, we were able to make sure that there's funding to go to community organizations who are out there combating our
Mahalo, Rep.
invasive species issues. So mahalo.
Mahalo. Rep, I believe we're gonna end with you and just quickly read our announcements. Are you willing to take a question from community?
If time permits.
Okay, can I just allow them to ask the question and then you can take it offline if anything?
Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead and state your question and then he'll respond off.
Aloha, Kalei Salcedo. You're on the Ag Land Committee. Okay, for the past 4 years, we've been having problems with poachers and everything at Keausai. Okay. Ohikilolo, you was aware of it. Gabriel was aware of it. Why didn't you folks take action? Duke, Pia would still be alive. And you call yourself our reps. Our rep. Please
I'll
listen
answer
to
that
me.
question very
Please
quickly,
listen.
Chair.
We give you the
is that
time.
we
You don't
have
give your community the time.
participated in making sure that funding is being provided to community. And this year, we made it a priority to expedite the needs of the community through making sure that DLNR does its job, which is not my job. It's the administration, Governor Green's administration's job to make sure that they are implementing what the laws are on the books, which is my job, what I create. So what happens from my job of creating laws to how they implement it, that's a big gap, and that's on the administration to take on that kuleana to make sure that it's done appropriately. I've been advocating for many years to make sure that it is done appropriately. Now with the switch of Governor Green, there has been a lot of movement in that direction, and I'm pleased that this agriculture package that is shown on your screen will go towards the issue that Mrs. Salcedo has brought up right now.
Okay, Rep, could we?
Chair, I'd like to
connect-
just say something, Chair. Don't say he was advocating for his committee when he's not here in person, but he can be in person when
here.
it comes to a Democrat Party. So you know what? Don't say you're here.
I'm
You
here
are
and at work
not.
at the Capitol.
Please,
So mahalo.
save your community
Thank
that
you.
hurt.
Rep, thank you for your point of order.
Get out,
Please
get
keep
out
it
of the race.
civil.
Save your
Mahalo,
community
I
that hurt.
Keep it civil.
Rep Gates, if it's possible for us to continue that conversation on how we as a community can work with you to expedite these services from our DLNR department, that would be greatly appreciated. So if we can connect offline to see how we can further that discussion. But mahalo for your time
Yes,
and
Chair.
taking the question. So announcements, the next regular board meeting is on Tuesday, June 4th. And if you're interested in attending neighborhood security watches in your area, please let us know and we can connect with you. Congratulations and happy graduation to all our graduates. May you be blessed on your journey and your community loves you and supports you. Community consciousness and values be a part of the solution, not the problem. Let's put unity back in the community. And I'm gonna adjourn this meeting now.